1960 was the original? I didn't know that. I thought the play was first.
Yeah, it was the original. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. I thought the play was first, but the play was not first. The movie was first, then the play, then the remake.
Mm-hmm. You actually did know that.
I didn't know that.
Ironically enough, I did know that.
Well, I didn't know that. I thought the play was first.
There was like 3 different little shovel horrors on Prime. There's like 3 different of them.
That's because
sure I watched
that's because
one.
it's
Ada
in.
said I did.
That's because it's in public domain, so people can take the movie and edit it. Blah blah blah. There's a black and white. There's a color. It's really just other shades.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched the color.
In the original, in 1960,
Yeah.
was it funny or was it horror?
It was a comedy. It's considered a comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be comedy.
It's considered a comedy.
Okay.
Is it?
But
Yeah.
it was more
It
of
was
just
1960.
Okay. Well, that explains why I laughed.
Okay, because look, I don't remember it being funny.
See, I don't remember it being funny either. And then I'm like watching it this time. I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
This is definitely a comedy. movie.
Yeah.
And then it's also described as a comedy.
Well, yeah. Okay, so like
was under the
I found out
impression-
that this movie is actually considered the first horror comedy.
Oh, really?
Roger Corman came up with the idea because I didn't put this in trivia, so I'm not saying anything that we can even talk about it later, but I found this very interesting.
I'm pretty
he
sure we're
found
recording
out-
anyways.
He found out that he found out that he was trying to the set that was there that they used was a set for a different movie, and the guy that did the movie was talking about how they were going to be tearing it down soon. And Roger Corman, who's famously known for like being very cheap, he was like, "Hey, so this set's here, and I could make a movie and use this set and not have to spend the money to do that." So he was like frantically trying to come up with an idea for a movie. And so he was like, "Well, I can make another horror movie because I'm good at that." And then he's like, "But, and he's like, that led to the idea that, when people are watching horror movies, a lot of times when they're done being scared, they start to laugh, right? So they're like, "Oh, I was scared. Ha ha ha, you got me." And then he's like, "Well, what if it was a horror movie, but it was funny?" And that was where the idea came from.
Yeah, like a horror comedy.
Yeah. So I thought that was
Which
very
is
interesting.
a huge deal now.
I thought that was very interesting. I never knew that before.
All right. Welcome back.
Hi.
We made it through 100 episodes. This is 101. We did it, guys. We're there. We're part of that Mile High Club.
That's one way to put it, I guess.
Anyway. Welcome back. Don't forget to check out the social stuff down there at the bottom. Man. I almost forgot how to do this because we did it on Saturday last week.
And now we took a week off, and it's like, what?
Well, we didn't really take a week off.
No, but we did it twice in 1 week, and then it was like, I have a whole week to what?
Yeah, like Tuesday was like, what do we do? I'm like,
Yeah.
We can do anything.
I know.
We can do anything.
I know, Tuesday.
And then what'd you do with it? Like, I think I'll
Nothing.
clean the bathroom.
I think we watched a movie or something. I don't remember what
I think
we
I
did,
cleaned
to be
my
honest with you.
bathroom,
I
actually.
don't remember what we did.
Well, I know Tuesday was at Mom's, and it was like coming up on 7 o'clock. I was like, they're gonna be calling me. No, I didn't watch a movie this week. Oh, I didn't watch a movie this week.
I should have texted you, like, answer your phone.
It's so funny because the whole movie, because we watched the original House on a Hill, that whole movie, Jeremiah barely said 3 words through the whole movie until like maybe at the beginning and at the end, but like during the movie, I think he was just watching the movie. Where we were like talking through the whole fucking movie.
I'm making fucking noise with my damn cups
and everything else. He was just watching it. I was like, all right, he's into it.
Hey, that movie is
good, though.
It is such a good movie.
It
It's
is.
just there's certain things about it that are so quirky and dated, but not necessarily in a bad way. It's just fun to point out, I guess. Yeah, I love it.
It's not a bad movie.
No,
at
it's
all.
not.
Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into our creator profile this week. I think we all know who it is.
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Fuck
Of course
yeah,
it's
it is.
Rick Moranis. I couldn't find his biography.
I thought we already did him.
No. So I went with his, I found his wiki page and I used that. So take it all with a grain of salt because obviously you can go in and edit people's wiki pages. So yeah, I think it's mostly true.
Well, we're gonna go with that.
Okay. I'm gonna read it because I already have it.
Go for it. We've got 2 movies to read.
Okay.
So, and yes, we're reading both movies.
Okay.
So we're going to try to speed run right through it.
No stopping.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis. Early life. Moranis was born in Toronto, Ontario. Okay, already.
You
To
can't
a
be
Jewish
skipping
family.
over words. You can't be fumbling over words, though. You got to be like straight through.
I'm going straight through. Ontario.
Mi scusi.
Real. He attended elementary school with Geddy Lee, frontman of the rock band Rush. His career as an entertainer began as a radio disc jockey.
You think they got along?
Mid 1970s.
I bet he was like the little nerdy kid, and then
No, I think that he probably, I think he could probably get along with anybody, if I'm honest.
really.
Well, there's
I bet no, because I've heard that Rick Moranis, like he's probably a down to earth guy, but I'm sure he's an asshole sometimes.
I'm sure he has to be, but
Maybe. That's what happens when you get punched in the head.
that was bullshit.
That was bullshit, man. Who does that?
Could you imagine, like,
And like the whole world was like out to get whoever punched him,
Yeah,
right?
like that guy needs to die. Like,
that's what I'm
pretty much
saying.
where
Like,
everybody
I don't know
died.
how that guy got away. Because if that had happened somewhere where, like,
Public.
It was in New York. Of
That's
all
what I'm
places,
saying.
too.
Well, that's how he got away with it. Because New York people are like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody just punched Rick Moranis. You see that?
oh well, I gotta
Oh,
go
well.
I gotta go to the deli. I gotta get me a
I
sandwich.
gotta go eat my schnitzel. I'll see you later.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm on my way somewhere.
Fuck.
Fuck him.
Punches Rick Moranis, dude.
Nah, if that had happened somewhere else other than New
That would have
York.
happened here in our town.
Anywhere.
That guy would have been lynched and fucking stoned to death. in the
Anywhere
middle of the
but
court
New
square.
York. Anywhere but New York.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like that had happened in Boston even. Hey, did you fucking see that? like,
That guy needs to
Get that guy!
it would have been over.
Hang, fucking try him as a witch. Like, fucking
Torches
burn
and
his-
pitfall-
torches
pitchforks.
ass.
Did you commit they crime?
no, stone him.
Using the on-air name
Seal
Rick
this
Allen
trial
at
all over
Toronto
again.
radio stations. FCTR, CKFH, 1050 CHUM, and CHUM FM. Okay. In the mid-1970s, Moranis and comedy partner Rob Cowan, also a budding young radio announcer, performed on CBC TV. Their spoof of Hockey Night in Canada was popular, and they periodically performed it on the road, including a charity sports dinner in Sarnia, Ontario. I'm saying that right? Ontario?
Mm-hmm.
Ontario. In 1977, he teamed up with Winnipeg-born writer, director, and performer Ken Fickelman on a series of live performances on CBC's 90 Minutes Live comedy radio specials and television comedy pilots, including one called Midweek and another called 1980, produced at CBC Toronto in 1979. Both pilots starred Fickelman and Moranis in a series of irreverent sketches, including an early mockumentary sketch featuring Moranis as a Canadian movie producer and another featuring the dubbed-in voiceovers of Nazi war criminals as they appear to be discussing their Hollywood agents and the money one can earn being interviewed on major documentary series The World at War. Anybody else feel like he's got a big life?
It's Rick Moranis.
Yeah, I guess so.
Do you want me to help you read?
No, okay.
Okay.
In 1980, Moranis was persuaded to join the third season cast of Second City Television, SCTV, by friend and SCTV writer-performer Dave Thomas. At the time, Moranis was the only cast member not to have come from a Second City stage trope.
Like Wendy's Dave Thomas?
I was thinking the same thing, but no, I don't. I doubt it. It's the only Dave Thomas I know.
That's the only Dave Thomas I know of.
He is known for such impressions
paid in
as
cheeseburgers.
Woody Allen, George Carlin, and Merv Griffin. and David Brinkley. With SCTV moving to CBC in 1980 and syndicated in the United States, Moranis and Thomas were challenged to fill 2 additional minutes with identifiable Canadian content and created a sketch called The Great White North, featuring the characters Bob and Doug McKenzie.
I remember those guys. Those were the guys that were, I can't remember. They had a movie, they were on a movie too, but they were always wearing coats. They always had those like weird hats, and they were drinking beer all the time. They're always talking about hockey, and yeah. I bet if you saw them, you'd know.
Maybe. Keep reading.
A couple of Canadian buffoons. By the time NBC ordered 90-minute programs for the U.S. in 1981, the 4th season of SCTV overall, there had been such favorable feedback from affiliates on the Mackenzies that the network requested the duo have a sketch in every show. Bob and Doug became a pop culture phenomenon, which led to a top-selling and Grammy-nominated album, The White North, and the 1983 movie Strange Brew.
All right.
Moranis
Can they do some shit on SNL too?
Maybe. Probably. Maybe that's where I know him from. I just remember seeing him on TV and in a couple of movies and stuff. Strange Brew, that was the movie. Yeah, Strange Brew.
Moranis' first major film role. Strange Brew. Another notable Moranis character on SCTV was Gary Todd, a disc jockey who presented music clips on television. The sketch aired before the debut of MTV in the United States, leading both Sound and Vision and Martin Short to dub Moranis as the creator of the video jockey. There had been no such thing up until that point, recalled Short, so the joke was that there would be such a thing. Feature films. The handprints of Rick Moranis in front of the Chinese Theater at Disney Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World after his SCTV work in the Strange Brew movie. Moranis had a busy career in the feature films that lasted over a decade, most notably Ghostbusters, Spaceballs, Little Shop of Horrors, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as its sequels. He also did the voiceover for a short-lived cartoon series on NBC called Gravedale High. Moranis was also slated to appear as the janitor in the 1985 John Hughes film The Breakfast Club. After a week or so of filming, Moranis was released by producer Ned Tannen because he felt Moranis' interpretation of the role was as an over-the-top Russian character was not appropriate for the serious nature of the film. Moranis presented...
You never heard that before?
Breakfast Club was supposed to be serious?
Right?
What?
What
was serious about that fucking movie?
It's semi-serious.
Somewhat.
I've never seen it.
But
I would
not...
think that would be over the top for the movie. I don't think that would fit at all.
Maybe not, but
add a little
still
bit more
though,
humor
like
to it.
to call it a serious.
I don't think that it would work at all. He comes in and he talks to them like a sage almost. That would not work.
Maybe, I don't know.
It would not work at all.
Let me see a clip of it.
God, it wouldn't work.
That's all I asked for. I just want to see a clip.
Yeah,
Of
you
Rick
could,
Moranis.
but I
Yeah,
don't
just him
think
doing
it
it.
would work. I mean, joking around, sure, fucking around. behind
He'd
the
be
scenes
shorter
or
than
whatever,
everybody
but
else there.
Shorter than most people, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't work. They were
Come
right
in all
to,
hunched over. And
they were right to either tell him to knock it off or
Take a hike.
bye.
Yeah.
Who fires Rick Moranis?
Moranis.
Who punches Rick Moranis? But shit happens, man.
Some actors
Dicks.
aren't cut out. Like if you're a comedic actor, then like I don't see how you can be put in a serious role.
It's like I said though, Rick Moranis feeds off of other people in movies.
Mm-hmm.
For him to take a lead role and actually carry a movie on his own is Even in Little Shop of Horrors, he pounces off of other characters. He pounces off of Steve Martin, the Plant, what's her face, Ellen Green. So I mean, he bounces off of those characters to make himself. That's how he's funny. Because he's that guy in the room that is, I don't know, taken less seriously than everybody else. I guess anyway.
Well, he kind of gets put in that role. That's kind of what he got famous for being, was that guy. So he's used to playing
the
that
geeky
role, I
loner.
guess.
Kind of, yeah, that geeky, loserish type of role that, he's always been known to be. Just like in Ghostbusters and things like that, which is, he plays it well, So.
Moranis presented the departure as a mutual decision and hoped to work with Hughes in the future. Moranis was originally cast as Phil Berkshire in the 1991 film City Slickers, but later dropped out due to his wife's illness. Moranis' last film roles were Barney Rubble in The Flintstones, 1994, and the box office flop Big Bully in 1996. Other than the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sequels, by the mid-1990s, his only appearance in that genre was a 1993 music video, Tomorrow's Girls by Donald Fagen, in which he played a man married to an extraterrestrial woman. Disney's final film in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids franchise is 1997's direct-to-video film, Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, in which Moranis is the final remaining original cast member. The series Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show, also launched in 1997, but without Moranis. It concluded in 2000. He worked for Disney twice more.
Wait, hold on a fucking minute. The TV show ran for how long?
3 years.
Yep.
And I never heard of it.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, neither have I.
I've never even heard of this fucking show.
First I've heard
Was it
of
like a cartoon? Or
I
was
think it was a cartoon. Because I think I remember seeing it at one point in time.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, whatever. Continue.
Sure.
I'll look it up. What is
If you
it?
say so. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show.
He worked for Disney twice more with his fellow SCTV alumnus, Dave Thomas, voicing Rhett the Moose in 2003 animated film Brother Bear and its direct-to-video sequel. In a 2004 interview, Moranis talked about his favorite kinds of films on the last couple of movies I made, big-budget Hollywood movies. I missed being able to create my material in the early movies I did. I was brought in to rewrite my stuff, whether it was Ghostbusters or Spaceballs. By the time I got to the point where I was starring in movies and I had executives telling me what lines to say, that wasn't for me. I'm
What
not
was
an
he supposed to be
actor,
part
I'm a
of?
guy who comes out
He
of
wasn't a
comedy.
part of it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not an actor, I'm a guy who comes out of comedy, and my
It wasn't
impetuous,
Wasn't a cartoon.
It was an actual
It
show?
was an actual show.
I don't know that.
Are they shrank the whole series, or how's that work?
Maybe they're just shrinking shit all over the place. I don't know.
Was always to rewrite the line to make it funnier, not to make somebody's precious words work. Acting.
Man, that kind of
hiatus.
sounds like a dickish thing to say.
What?
Like he says, what did he? Something about he's an actor. He's not an actor. He's a comedian.
a guy who comes out of comedy.
Yeah, and he's like, he's not there to make somebody's precious words work or something like that.
He's there to make them funny.
That is kind of a dick thing to say to him, you know?
Wow.
Whatever.
Wow.
Wow.
In 1997, Moranis took a hiatus from working in the film industry. He later explained, "I'm a single parent and I just found that it was too difficult to manage to raise my kids and do the traveling involved in making movies, so I took a little bit of a break, and the little bit of a break turned into a longer break, and then I found that I didn't miss it." After having declined an invitation to make a cameo appearance in 2016's Ghostbusters,
Good
Moranis...
I mean, what?
Moranis clarified in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter that despite his hiatus, he had not retired from acting in films, but instead had become selective about future roles.
Extremely selective because you've not acted at all. You've done nothing.
Oh, I'm glad he didn't do that one.
Yeah.
Right, but he could have made like a cameo appearance in the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
any
could
any
have.
of the
Any
newer
of
ones
the new
that's
ones,
coming
like
out.
either of the
I
new
don't know
ones.
if
Because
they asked.
those are decent.
And those are
pretty
also
good.
with the original cast. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
if they
know
brought him, like if they brought him into a Ghostbusters movie, that alone is going to sell tickets.
Dude, that would, like, the theater would erupt.
Yeah,
If Louis Tully walked through the door, people would fucking die.
especially if it wasn't announced.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't announce it or show him in the trailers.
Like,
and-
you seen fucking Sigourney Weaver at the end and they were married and people were like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, that shit was fucking fire.
Later work. In 2001, Moranis received his first film credits since 1997 when he provided voice work in the animated film Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and The Island of Misfit Toys. As of 2004, Moranis was on the advisory committee for the comedy program at Humber College. In 2005, Moranis released an album titled The Agoraphobic Cowboy, featuring country songs with lyrics that Moranis says follow the comic tradition and songwriters-singers such as Roger Miller, Kinky Friedman, and Jim Stafford. The album was produced by Tony Scher, and his distributed through Artist Share, as well as Moranis' official website. Commenting on their origins of the songs, he said that in 2003, out of the blue, I wish I wrote a bunch of songs. For lack of better explanation, they're more country than anything, and I demoed 4 or 5 of them, and I'm not sure at this point what I'm going to do with them, whether I'm going to fold them into a full-length video or a movie. But boy, I had a good time doing that. On December 8, 2005, The Agoraphobic Cowboy was nominated for a 2006 Grammy for Best Comedy Album. On February 3, 2006, Moranis performed Press Pound on Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
Conan.
Conan.
Come on, man, Conan O'Brien, baby. Love Conan.
I like Jimmy.
He is so funny.
He's fucking hilarious. I love Conan
I
O'Brien.
like Jimmy Fallon.
He is Jimmy Fallon is dog shit
compared to Conan.
compared to Conan.
I don't
Okay.
know who that is.
And
What's
Jimmy
the dude with
Fallon's
the
a
red
fucking
hair?
tool anyway.
Yeah.
You ever see the one where he did with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, Conan O'Brien?
Yeah, yeah. And they let the girl drive him around. Yeah, it was for Joyride or whatever
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, or Ride Along. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that shit. That shit was funny.
I'm gonna turn you red.
Okay. And discuss the development
chat
of his
forward.
music career.
You remember whenever we went to Comic-Con the year that fucking Mad Max Fury Road came out? I don't know if you watched it, but like he goes, so they go to Comic-Con dressed as the fucking guys, the War Boys from Fury Road,
I know what you're
and he's
talking
up
about.
on the fucking guitar thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, priceless! It was priceless. I love Conan. Sorry.
The best part was when they did his makeup with him being so pale and like.
Yeah.
I want a superhero costume made like Conan did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With his hair is like a. That's fucking wild.
In 2007, Moranis reunited with Dave Thomas for a 24th anniversary special of Bob and Doug McKenzie, titled Bob and Doug McKenzie's 2 through 4 anniversary. I don't know why it says it like that, or if that's right. The duo shot new footage for this special. Thomas subsequently created a new animated Bob and Doug McKenzie series, Bob and Doug, for his company Animax Entertainment. Hey, I know Animax. What movies do they make? A lot of them.
I don't know.
I've seen it before.
Never heard of it.
I think they made Spy Kids before. I think.
Spy Kids was made by Robert Rodriguez.
No, I mean like produced. I can't remember. No,
He
that
probably
was
produced it, too.
That was
How did those movies get popular?
I have no
Spy
idea.
Kids.
Man.
I loved those movies when I was a kid.
No.
I don't know. That was before my time or after my time. So
It's the kids that made it popular.
I guess.
I liked those movies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They were always
They were
on,
very popular with the kids.
yeah.
I
Not
can't
only
really
that,
say
but they
anything. I
were-
look it back and like think about like Three Ninjas and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Three
Spy
Ninjas.
Kids,
You know what I mean?
Spy Kids as far as
Three
like kids
Ninjas,
movies.
Surf Ninjas.
yeah, Surf Ninjas.
Anything Ninjas.
Hey, Surf Ninjas. Don't go wrong with those.
I ain't hating on it.
But
I
Man,
love
seriously-
Surf
those
Ninjas is fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Seriously,
I'd
have
say
you ever
that-
sat down and watched Spy Kids?
Yeah.
They're not terrible.
Eh. So much CGI.
I watched
Oh,
them with
so
my
much.
kids.
It's a
So
kid's
much.
The whole
movie.
Yeah,
fucking
it's a
show
kids
is filmed
movie.
in front of it. The
Just-
whole movie.
Yeah, and like
It's
you're
just
just
another
talk,
bunch
you
of
just
green
you just
screen.
tried to defend Surf Ninjas.
Hey, hey,
Hey!
hey! You don't
Hey!
don't.
No, I'm just saying you can't compare apples to apples there.
Yeah, but that's not like all CGI.
Kinda though. Kinda.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Dude,
practical
Surf Ninjas had
effects.
Kino in it, okay?
Yeah,
Kino was the shit.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You don't go wrong with Kino
Right.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mhm.
From Ninja Turtles 2? Kino.
Yep.
and his dad.
He was in everything though. Then like
No, he won. I don't remember. I only
he was
remember
in
him-
every single one of those kind of movies.
I only remember him in that and Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
And then the Rundown years later. Because he beats the fuck out of the Rock.
Yeah. He's in other things though too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wait,
like
you
every
mean the
single
kid?
ninja movie he was
Kino.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
Did you watch-
Chinese
Yeah.
Pizza delivery boy.
Yeah.
That's great.
Did you ever watch the
I
Three
wanna see him
Ninjas that
beat
had the
crap
Hulk
out
in
of
it?
The Rock. What movie was it?
No, I didn't get that
Oh
far.
my
man.
god, that
Yeah,
one
what
was
movie
terrible.
it that he
The
did?
Rundown. Which is
Rundown.
actually a really good action movie.
Is it in the box?
No, it should be though, because it's really good. Because it's also got
I'm sorry, Karen.
Scott. What's his name? Sean William Scott.
Mendes.
It's got Sean William Scott in it,
Oh.
and what's her face in it too? Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, Rundown.
I really had Dolphin.
That's
Yeah.
actually a really good
Anyways.
movie.
Yeah,
I
I haven't
like
seen
that
it.
It's
one.
very good.
I'm
It's a
just
very
messing.
good movie.
I haven't
You got to
seen it.
think. So pre-Rock, fucking like before he got into all these franchise movies and shit, he was actually awesome to
The
watch. in movies.
Rundown.
He was
Wait,
The
I have
Rundown,
seen the Rundown. No, I haven't seen
Walking
the Rundown. I
Tall,
have seen
Faster.
Walking Tall was good.
Yeah,
Well,
those
yeah,
are good
Walking
fucking
Tall.
movies. But like then he got into these like franchise movies and shit, and started telling everybody what to do, and that's where it just got.
That's
all
where
right,
him
you-
and Vin Diesel
Yeah.
clashed, and
He turned down this one too. It says Moranis declined to voice the role of Bob, which was taken over by Dave Collier, but remained involved in the series as an executive producer.
Bob on what?
Bob and
He
what?
reserved. He just
It's Bob and Doug or whatever.
the guys that I just
Oh, yeah.
that was his own thing.
Exactly.
And he just turned it down.
Yeah,
But he's being picky. He's being picky.
I wouldn't give
It
up
was his
something
show,
that I
but
had
he
helped
just-
create.
Right.
He created it. Maybe he just didn't want his voice being in it.
Maybe he just didn't want to deal with it. Anyway,
Dude, being a
continue.
voice actor would be the
We need
easiest
to
thing in the
we need
world.
to
I
power
want.
run through this shit.
Yeah, we got a long
It's not my fault the
road.
thing's so long.
Well, Rick Moranis has had an exciting life, I suppose.
No,
It's
he
Rick
hasn't done
Moranis.
anything.
Or
last
cut a
20
creator profile
years.
short, and he would live happily ever after. The end.
He got punched in the head once, and then that was it.
Let's
It's
see.
the last anybody heard of him.
On June 18, 2013,
Oh, he did a Mint
Moranis
Mobile
released
ad.
the comedy album titled My Mother's Brisket and Other Love Songs, his first album in 8 years. Moranis said of the release, when I first began writing jokes and sketches with various Jewish partners
You keep
of
stopping there,
one
too,
of us
so.
would inevitably stop at some point and announce too Jewish,
about Three
too
Ninjas.
Jewish for the star, the show, the network, or the audience. The songs of the album are all in that category. I grew up hearing the Alan Sherman and the You Don't Have to Be Jewish albums in the 60s. Now I am in my 60s. In a June 2013 interview, Moranis talked about reprising his role as Louis Tully in the third Ghostbusters film and his disappointment with the sequel. Moranis said, I haven't talked to Dan Aykroyd about it. Somebody he's associated with called me and said I wouldn't do it, but it's got to be good. You know, I'm not interested in doing anything I've already done, and I thought the second one was a disappointment. But I guess I'm interested in where that guy is now.
I disagree. I like the second one more than the first one.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
The one with the baby.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
like
was
the
just
second one.
clarifying because everybody thinks like the one where the one that they just came out with, the Frozen one. They keep talking about that as if it's like the second one. It's like, are you guys just negating the first and second one of the original series? Like they just keep
Oh, I
talking
see.
about, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they're starting over with the
like
kid.
a reboot. Or
Yeah, the
whatever.
reboot instead of 1, 2, and then
Oh yeah, and that's whatever happened to their kid or her kid. Like they don't like she makes a kid.
Oscar.
Yeah, what happened?
We never really got back to Dana. They just had that scene where she was
He can't. Yeah,
she was electrocuting him.
Right.
he became a boxer. Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah, see.
There you go. That's funny though. I like because like that. Unpopular demand. The second one's better than the first.
I like them.
I like both. Don't get me wrong, I love both movies, but the second one I like it more just because of the ooze and all that stuff, and I think it was a higher budget, maybe all that. But
I think the jokes hit.
they hit a little bit better. Yeah, they land a little better, especially with like Bill Murray and stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, whenever he's explaining the difference between like the Twinkie, the whole Twinkie thing in the first one, that's all. That's priceless.
I love when he's like, "You want me to go out on the streets of New York, tell everybody they got to be nice to each other?"
Yeah.
I got you, Madison.
Shut up!
Thank you. I sort of see him as being Bernie Madoff's cellmate in jail. Both of them being so orderly that they race to get up and make their beds. I don't know what he's talking about right now.
Okay. Maybe he's talking about his kids.
In 2015, regarding an offer for a brief appearance in the 2016 film, he concluded, "Ghostbusters didn't appeal to me. I wish them well, but it just makes no sense to me."
See what I mean? He got too serious in life. You know? I think that was his biggest problem.
It's like biting the hand that feeds. Like,
Yeah.
dude.
Well, that's what he did though. Like he pretty much said "fuck you" to everybody because he's getting that big money from the Honey I Shrunk the Kids franchise or whatever.
What big money? They were like,
Well, he thought he was getting paid a shitload of money because he was a lead role in all those movies.
I guess.
Well, at least in 3 of them. And I'm just like, but dude, like you said, biting the hand that feeds.
Okay.
That's why I think Rick Moranis. Like I love Rick Moranis, dude. I love him as an actor, but I think in real life he's probably a dick.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm going to speed run through this. In July 2017, Moranis and Dave Thomas reprised their Bob and Doug characters at a benefit concert in Toronto.
I think Dave Coulier should have been able to do that.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Revive Bob's role or whatever.
Mm.
On May 9th, 2018, Moranis returned as the character Panikin in Crybaby Lord Dark Helmet from Spaceballs in an episode of The Goldbergs, albeit as a voice. Moranis appears in the Martin Scorsese directed Second City TV reunion documentary titled An Afternoon with SCTV set to premiere on Netflix. In 2020, Moranis signed on to reprise his roles as Wayne Salzinski, in Shrunk. New sequel in the Honey I Shrunk the Kids series. When completed, it will mark a return to live-action films for Moranis. After completed, it will mark a return to live-action for Moranis. Oh, whoops.
She skipped.
No,
After a hiatus of over 2 decades. Later that same year, he appeared in a commercial for Mint Mobile alongside Ryan Reynolds. Personal life.
I told you, Ryan Reynolds is a fucking marketing genius, dude. That dude knows how to market shit.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna get Rick Moranis in this shit. People will remember this. Look, now it's on his wiki page.
Moranis married makeup designer Ann Belsky in 1986. Together they had 2 children, a son and a daughter. Belsky died of cancer in February 1991. Moranis then slowly left public life to become a full-time single father. On October 1st, 2020, Moranis was assaulted in New York City in the vicinity of West 70th Street, Manhattan. He suffered minor injuries to his head, back, and hip. He reported the incident to the New York Police Department, NYPD, who posted security footage from the attack. The alleged perpetrator was arrested a month later in New York City on November 14th.
Damn right he was. He was raped and sodomized in prison.
With a soldering iron.
Yep. He's probably got Rick Moranis tattooed on his back now.
No, on his butthole.
Rick Moranis with titties on his back. Anyway, Favorite Rick Moranis movie?
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Number one, Spaceballs.
Little Shop of Horrors.
This is a tough one for me because Little Shop of Horrors and Spaceballs are like the GOAT.
Whenever I was
They're
like
the shit.
7, it probably would have been
Spaceballs, man.
Honey Raised Shrunk the Kids because I used to watch a movie all the time.
That's good, but it's not great.
Yeah.
I never said it was.
The
I said whenever
Spaceballs
I
is
was
the only
7,
one
I
where he
really
really-
liked that movie.
I'm gonna say
he's not he's not the loser.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Spaceballs just on the sheer fact that
It's just so
his
fucking
comedic
good.
chops are there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, smoke him if you got him. You know, like
Yeah.
he's fucking there. Like, don't get me wrong. Little Shop of Horrors is my favorite musical of all time, hands
Agreed.
down. And I love this movie, but Spaceballs, man, he kills it in that movie.
It's like he steps outside of being the loser. And
Exactly.
Knock
And he's
next
awesome.
time.
He's so much
Knock.
fun. And he's so much
I
fun
like that.
in
You
that
idiot!
movie.
You captured their stunt doubles.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny. Anyway, let's move on here. What'd you guys watch this week?
What the hell have you been watching?
We'll speed run through this.
Family Guy, The
the
Changeling,
past
Death
2
Ball,
weeks.
Never Ending Story 3, Dirty Grandpa, and Madman.
Wait, hold on a fucking minute. You watched Never Ending Story 3?
That was Jeremiah's pick. I've never seen it. He never saw it.
I'm sorry.
Wait, which one is that one?
I didn't
The
even know. I didn't
shittiest
even know
one?
that there was a third one.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say I
the
knew there was a
shittiest
third
one.
one. I think I've seen it like once.
It's
But-
all you need to see.
Mm-hmm.
What'd
I
you
can't
watch?
remember what it's about even.
Family Guy, The Changeling, Death Ball, Never Ending Story 3, Dirty Grandpa, and Madman.
Dirty Grandpa. It's a good movie, too.
Yes, it is.
What about you?
Black Sails and Rust Riches, and then I watched the movie If. With
Oh, is
Kendrick.
that
Did you
good?
like that?
It's okay. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
I've had it for like a while, and none of the kids are like, I want to watch that.
I
Because
think
I've
it's-
mentioned it to
I
Jackson
think it's-
several times. He was like, eh.
I think it's pretty wholesome, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got some good comedy, but it's more of a wholesome kind of movie.
Like, kind of a...
It's
like
not
a
really
feel-good movie
serious.
at the
Yeah,
end,
it's more of like
you
a
know?
feel-good movie
Okay.
more than anything. It's pretty comical, but it's not.
It's got Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yeah, he's got comedy, but it's got more of a wholesome.
I love that
kind
you're
of
wearing
feel.
Deadpool, because we're really considering going and watching Deadpool Thursday night.
I want to see it.
You're gonna take us with you, right?
You got to work, don't you?
No, it's Thursday. This
You don't-
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah, if you
No.
guys are home, I'll take you with you. I don't give a fuck.
I want to go so bad. I want to see that movie so
I wanna
bad.
see
I
it
want to watch
really
Deadpool so bad.
I
We're
want to see
probably
it.
gonna see it.
I want to see it really bad.
Deadpool.
I'm really excited for it.
Me too.
Because it's got Wolverine.
I was gonna say he likes.
I can wait till it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, or digital.
Well,
but like, because it's got Wolverine in it and all the cameos that I've heard about, I'm like, oh, I want to see this fucking movie. So,
I want
Ever
to see it
since-
because not only that, but it's also linked to the Loki series that I watched, and it's got like little hints and stuff in that from it.
Calm down.
So,
as soon as Ryan started, doing the Deadpool movie, the first Deadpool movie, Hugh got a hold of Ryan. Was like, hey, we gotta get Wolverine into it. Like he
Yeah.
was like,
it's funny because I just watched an interview with him and he said, so after the first Deadpool movie was coming out, just as Logan was releasing,
Yeah.
and he said
He was
he
was
said
so
three
mad.
things that I was really that I said I wanted to do in life, and one of them was be in a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
He said, and I kind of missed the mark. He's like, so I'm glad I'm here today.
Yeah.
Like he's just glad he's doing it. So, all right, Madison, what'd you watch?
I watched Exo Kitty, which Bella had me watch that. It was a romance show. I didn't really like it. I watched that. I watched Monster High, 13 Wishes, and then today I watched Monster High, Scare City or whatever, and then what else did I watch? I think did I already say
Supernatural?
Supernatural? Yeah, I watched Supernatural. I also me and Garrett finished the whole Cobra Kai series in 4 days. And then we watched Karate Kid 1 and 2, and then he had to watch the third one on his own because I had come back here. Yeah. He was like, well, every time I get home from work, he'd be like, can we watch Cobra Kai? Can I eat? Can I go get my food first? I'm hungry. I didn't eat anything today.
We started watching the new season of that 90s show, which I really like that show. It definitely, it's very much like that 70s show, and I love it. So it's
I've
really
heard
good.
that, actually.
It's really good. I watched a couple of episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Still watching Dragon Ball with Jackson, and I started the new season of Cobra Kai. I'm ready for the series to end.
This is the last season.
I know, I'm ready for it to end because it's so fucking cheesy. It's so cheesy. And then I finished up The Boys last season. The final episode was worth the whole season. It was a great episode. And I can't, because they're doing one more season of The Boys, and I can't wait to see what happens with the final season. And we watched The Watchers, which is that horror movie from M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. I guess it got really bad reviews and shit. I liked the movie. I thought it was really good. I thought it was like original, a lot of good shit. I just thought it was like, okay, so my complaint with horror movies nowadays is they reuse ideas constantly. This is something that you don't see very often in this movie. What these creatures are, this and that. I'm not going to give too much away.
Sure.
Because you guys haven't seen it. I'm sure you plan on watching it at some point. But something like, I always said that they need to use like Supernatural. Like in Supernatural, they always go with vampires and this and that. Like they need to get into more of these like other monsters that exist in lore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We talked about that. Yeah.
That's what this movie does. So I'm like, thank God. You know what I mean? Like
something different.
Mm-hmm. Like the wraiths, man. Like I wanted to know more about those. Like when they were doing those in Supernatural, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Or even just come up with a concept of a different kind of monster just out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Wendigos. I mean, there's all kinds of different monsters in lore that you can use.
Some they never even got to.
Everything
that would have been do Wendigos, or they just
no, they did, but they only did a few episodes on them, and there's like so much lore
changelings
about that.
And shit like that.
Like there's so much lore, and they could get into it if they wanted to, but no, they would just do ghosts over and over again.
Ghosts or vampires,
and then they got into demons and angels. And they wouldn't fucking let that go. It just kept going and going.
And they got away from, like she said, the Monster of the Week stuff, which is the best part. Because I liked even like the werewolf episodes and all these, like just the random monsters, like the hellhounds were coming in. And it was just so cool to see this shit. And they're like, all right, angels and demons.
And then they stuck with that for like fucking ever.
Yeah, it's just... And don't get me wrong, I think angels and demons are a cool concept
as the wraparound.
But
they took that wraparound and they just kept going with it.
But that's what I said about movies is like they're always vampires, zombies, werewolves, mummies. What about all the other fucking monsters in lore? You know what I mean?
Well, that's why it probably got bad reviews.
Not anymore. That's the problem is they don't do a lot of good werewolf movies anymore.
They don't do a lot of creature features anymore.
They don't, and I love. That's my favorite kind of horror movie are creature. I love monster movies,
especially when it's done right.
Yeah, I love monster. I love good, scary monster movies.
But you gotta have somebody that's good with practical effects.
I will say that new fucking Alien trailer looks awesome.
Good.
It looks like
it does. I agree.
Fede Alvarez, dude, he does something right about shit because. It looks like it like watching the trailer alone made me think of the original two Alien
See, that's
movies.
what people keep saying is that it's a ripoff of the original.
That's the point. Take us back, dude.
Yeah, well, that's my thing is like, okay, fine. You want to say it's a ripoff, that's fine. But like they are doing different things. You could even say like, okay, fine. You want to say like, okay, fine, it's a ripoff, then okay, but they are doing a different story, first of all. And second of all, the things that they're doing with the aliens and how they get there and all that stuff is completely different. And then on top of that, you look at it from the perspective that, guess what? Every single movie that they did in space is a ripoff of the first one.
What's your guys?
They get to a place and there's aliens. Or they get into a ship and there's aliens.
Oh my god, what's the movie called? What's the movie called?
Aliens. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if you want to say that, then basically every movie after Aliens that was part of their franchise was a ripoff. So
talking about remakes, what do you guys, your opinions on the new Jordan Peele's People Under the Stairs remake? He's talking about.
I'm on the fence.
How about this, Jordan? Stay original, man. Don't start on your remake bullshit. You've had a good streak of original movies. Stick with that. Don't go off doing remakes.
You had one bad movie, which every director's entitled to. A few bad ones. I didn't like Us.
Oh, you didn't like Us? That's my least favorite of his.
I don't like
Nope is my favorite. I fucking love Nope.
I love
that
Nope.
one.
I agree. I
showed
love
that
Nope
one
is
to
my
almost
favorite.
everyone.
I didn't
I've
like
seen it
Nope.
like 2 or 3
I like
times,
Nope.
and every time I watch it, it gets better. I
I
don't know.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a great fucking movie.
I know I watched it the first time and then I watched it again like a week after we
Yeah.
watched it. With
Yeah,
my
like the first time I
grandpa
watched it, I was
Jim.
like, meh.
That's kind of, I was like, it was alright. It wasn't too
Yeah.
bad. And
And
then
the
to watch
second
it
time,
again,
I was like,
holy shit.
this is fucking great.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, yeah. No,
Meh.
I didn't care for Us. I didn't care for it.
But yeah, I mean, he's got to really watch it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of Wes Craven fans that are like going to be like nitpick.
I don't think
the
this is
fuck
what
out.
I
Don't
think.
get me wrong,
this
I
is
think
where-
they put it in good hands. I'll give him that.
This is the problem. He's not going to be able to recreate the tone.
Right. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Fede Alvarez, man.
Yeah.
That dude's. This is. So he
Well-
did the original. He did the remake of Evil Dead. Fucking fantastic. One of the best remakes I've ever seen.
Was which one was that?
The one
Dead
from
Rise?
2014.
Evil Dead.
No,
not
the one
Evil
from
Dead
20. It was the
Rise.
Evil Dead remake.
Oh, was that literally?
Yeah,
What it's called?
it's just called Evil Dead,
Yeah.
and it was good. It was really fucking good.
I'm saying like he's not going to be able to recreate that very eerie tone, but there's also this ludicrous tone going on because you get mommy and daddy running around with his fucking BDSM outfit and like it's very ludicrous, right? Like you're just sitting there like these are the people that
These kids are scared
that
of.
we're supposed to be scared of, but at the same time you are.
Yeah.
How do you pull that off?
Yeah.
How do you do that? There good luck.
Yeah.
And all of them got their tongues cut out.
No, not all of them.
With just that one.
Daddy just cut out the bad parts.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's move on here. Fuck, where are we? Oh yeah,
We're moving on to the movie.
Yeah,
Moving
we're
on
on
to
to
the
the
movie.
movie.
One of them.
One of them.
Let's talk about the movie.
So,
We're gonna go ahead and do it. We're gonna do the. Huh?
Am I going to timestamp them separate?
No,
or-
no. Just
We're moving on to the movies.
movies. That's plural this time.
You gotta change it. Movies.
We're gonna start with the first one.
Don't
We'll
worry, I
read
got it.
We'll get our recommendations. Read it. Move on to the second one. Do our recommendations. Read it, and then we'll go from there. And then we'll rate both at the end. So sound good? Do
Sounds
it that
good.
way. It's easy, simple.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to start off with the Little Shop of Horrors from 1960. Do you have any plot synopsis or anything like that?
I do.
They're the same.
Wasn't my
I'll
turn.
read one movie and then you want to read the other?
I can read the first
Wait,
one if you
who's
want.
doing it?
It's whatever, I don't care which
Seymour works
I
in
will.
a Skid Row florist shop and he is in love with his beautiful coworker Audrey. He creates a new plant that not only talks but cannot survive without human flesh and blood. And if it's okay, we'll just move on.
That's fine.
Yeah.
My button didn't work.
Hold on. Would you watch? Would you recommend?
Yeah, I would recommend it to horror fans, but will I watch again? Probably not.
Okay.
For me.
All right, Karen.
Yes and yes.
I'm going to say I would probably watch it again, and I would recommend it to a certain group. I wouldn't say just to anybody, but I would recommend it to people who love classic movies, classic horror, anything like that. Like, yeah, I would recommend, especially if you're into classic comedy and horror. You know what I mean? Like, I love movies from the 1960s. I'm a huge Marilyn Monroe buff. I love Marilyn Monroe movies. Some Like It Hot is one of my favorite comedies. And I would say that, and I love classic comedy like that because of its zaniness, I guess you could say. and this movie has a lot of that. So I would
forgot that
recommend
Dick
that.
Miller was in this.
Who?
Dick Miller.
So is fucking
Jack Nicholson. Everybody knows Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
is in it. They fucking promote that shit.
I
And
know
I
they
didn't.
do.
I forgot Dick Miller was in this. Totally forgot.
Madison, would you watch? Would you recommend?
I would probably watch it again if I was in the right mood for it. Normally black and white movies make me fall asleep, but this one didn't. Probably because I just woke up whenever I watched it. But and I would recommend it to certain people, not everyone.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a pretty hefty recommend.
All right. Little Shop, 1960. On Los Angeles Skid Row, penny pinching Mushnick, owns a florist shop that is staffed by his 2 employees, the sweet but simple Audrey and clumsy Seymour. Although the rundown shop gets little business, there are some repeat customers. For instance, Mrs. Siddhi Shiva shops almost daily for flower arrangements for her relatives' funerals. Another regular customer is Burson Fouch, Dick Miller, who eats the plants he buys for lunch.
Flowers,
dude, when he
just starts eating the flowers. He's going to town on that flower. I'm like, why are you eating
And I'm staring. I'm like,
wait. Died when he's like, pull out the salt and pepper. Okay.
That shit's pretty funny.
I should have got the first hint that it was a comedy then.
Dude, I don't remember it being funny the first time I watched this. I was dying.
I forgot that he ate the flowers. And he started eating the flowers like, oh yeah. That's fucking great.
So when Seymour fouls up the arrangement of Dr. Farb, a sadistic dentist, Mushnick fires him. Hoping Mushnick will change his mind, Seymour tells him about a special plant that he crossbred from a butterwort and Venus flytrap. Bashfully, Seymour admits that he named the plant Audrey Jr., a revelation that delights the real Audrey. From the apartment he shares with his hypochondriac mother, Winifred, Seymour fetches his odd-looking potted plant, but Mushnick is unimpressed with its sickly, drooping look.
I like his mom.
Dude, I wish that they hadn't dropped that from the remake.
I thought the same thing. I'm like watching the first one. I'm like, why did they drop her mom? She's such a good part of this movie.
And she's so funny. Like, the meal that she cooked.
Yeah. I was like, she is such a... I could kind of see why they dropped her.
I get it. It's probably a pacing thing.
Pacing and time. But I'm just like, man, she is such a good part of this movie.
Right? However, when Fouch suggests that Audrey Jr.'s uniqueness might attract people from all over the world to see it, Mushnick gives Seymour 1 week to revive it. Seymour has already discovered that the usual kinds of plant food do not nourish his strange hybrid, and that every night at sunset the plant's leaves open up. When Seymour accidentally pricks his finger on another thorny plant, Audrey Jr. opens wider, eventually causing Seymour to discover that the plant craves blood. After that, each night Seymour nurses his creation with blood from his fingers. Although he feels increasingly listless, Audrey Jr. begins to grow, and the shop's revenues increase due to the curious customers who are lured in to see the plant. The plant, voiced by writer Charles B. Griffith, develops the ability to speak and demands that Seymour feed it. Now anemic and not knowing what to feed the plant, Seymour takes a walk along a railroad track. When he carelessly throws a rock to vent his frustration, he inadvertently knocks out a man who falls on the track and is run over by a train.
Who happens to be a detective, apparently.
You know, the first thing I think of is when that happened was the dude from Waterboy, the kid.
Miserably guilt-ridden but resourceful, Seymour collects the body parts and feeds them to Audrey Jr. Meanwhile, at a restaurant, Mushnick discovers he has no money with him, and when he returns to the shop to get some cash, he secretly observes Seymour feeding the plant. Although Mushnick considers telling the police, he procrastinates the next day when he sees the line of people waiting to spend money at his shop. When Seymour later arrives that morning suffering a toothache, Mushnick sends Seymour to Dr. Farb, who tries to remove several of his teeth without anesthetic to get even with Seymour for ruining Farb's flowers. Grabbing a sharp tool, Seymour fights back and accidentally stabs and kills Farb.
And like that whole scene was so fucking like, what the fuck?
Dude, listen, I like that scene better than in the remake. Though, here's why.
Wait, what part of the scene?
Like the whole dentist scene, except for the fact Jack Nicholson does not do it as well as Bill Murray. Well, I'm sorry.
I'm not just talking about that part.
I think Jack Nicholson in that scene was one of the best parts of the whole movie.
Jack Nicholson is hilarious.
Obviously, we know he plays crazy really well.
He does, but he's hilarious in that role because he's different than any crazy he's ever played. So that was hilarious, but Bill Murray does it better.
I think they both did great,
No,
man.
because he's all moany and shit, like, oh yeah.
That's
funny as fuck.
Oh yeah.
So, but
where he pulls out, he's like, picks his legs up, he's like, ooh.
No, but I like this dentist scene better. Because Steve Martin kills himself, right? Like, he breathes in the gas and he, like, you know, lays on the floor and he's like, well, what'd I ever do to you, right? Yeah. But in this, fucking dentist is all...
You're trying to kill me!
He's like, duel!
On guard!
They have a fucking duel! That shit is hilarious. He actually kills the dentist and then pretends to be the dentist. That's fucking funny.
It's pretty good.
But the like how it started like out of nowhere. He's like, "You're trying to kill me."
But he gets down and he's like, "Let's have a duel."
He's like, you want to duel it out, eh? It's like,
funny as hell.
I don't know. I still think the dentist part with Steve Martin is better.
Oh no,
Hands down.
I like this one better. Anyway, okay, Seymour fights back and accidentally stabs and kills Farb. Seymour is horrified that he is now murdered twice.
I was
Even
confused
though-
on how that little thing killed him so fast.
It's in the 1960s.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever see like any kind of like fighting scenes in any 1960s movie, it's all.
It's all about pacing and trying to get it over with before 2 hours,
Oh.
I
essentially.
mean, you got like your Star Trek. I mean, it's kind of one of those ordeals.
Oh no. After posing as a dentist to avoid the suspicion of Farb's masochistic, I can't say it, patient Wilberforce, Seymour feeds Farb's body to Audrey Jr. The unexplained disappearance of the two men attracts the attention of the police, and Mushnick finds himself questioned by Sergeant Joe Fink and his assistant officer Frank Stooley. Did anybody notice Joe and Frank? Like, they're totally Dragnet, like, rip-offs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And they're
yeah.
not very good
Takeoffs
detectives.
of Dragnet characters Joe Friday and Frank Smith. Okay.
Those were the detectives?
Yeah. Although Mushnick acts suspiciously nervous, Frank and Stooley conclude that he knows nothing. Audrey Jr. has grown several feet, is beginning to bud, as is the relationship between Seymour and Audrey. When a representative of the Society of Silent Flowers, observers of Southern California, comes to the shop to evaluate the plant, she announces that Seymour will receive a trophy from them and that she will return when the plant's buds open. While Seymour is on a date with Audrey, Mushnick stays at the shop to see that Audrey Jr. does not hurt anyone else. After trading barbs with the plant, when Audrey awakens and requests to be fed, Mushnick finds himself at the mercy of a robber who's played by the same guy that voices the plant.
And literally, Mushnick goes and hides in a little fucking.
Yeah, behind
Did
like
he
a
expect
vase.
not to be seen in there?
Right.
It was a fucking glass window. Like,
And
think
he's
that's
hiding
part of the
literally behind
comedy,
a
though.
plant. You know, one little twig of a plant.
But I think
Yeah.
that's part of the comedy. Like, you see that in
I think
comedies
he's
nowadays.
I think
Like,
the
they'll
director's
hold up
looking
like
around
a
this
twig.
set. This is an already built set. Like, well, where can he actually hide? Put him in the glass cabinet. I don't know.
But you see that in movies nowadays, though, too. Like, that, you know, the people, like, hide behind a branch. You know? Like, it's comedy. It's literally physical comedy.
Is this where it originated from, then?
Might be.
Well, I mean, in
I
the
don't see why it
more
couldn't be.
comedies when like the people like look at the branch and like act like they don't see them.
Like in Ace Ventura.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
in
it,
Ace
yeah.
Ventura when he walks by the landlord's window.
Yeah.
And he's got a whole pile of them sitting there.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about that part whenever we were going over
I don't
Ace
think we did
Ventura.
either.
That's good, though.
Mushnick finds himself at the mercy of a robber who pretends to be a customer of the previous day and believes that the huge crowd he had observed attending the shop indicated the presence of a large amount of money. To save his own life, Mushnick tricks the robber into thinking that the money is with the plant, which then crushes and eats him. Not only does the monstrous plant's growth then increase with this latest meal, but his intelligence and abilities do as well. It intimidates Mr. Mushnick, who is now more terrified than ever, but not so much that he will forego the money the plant is bringing in as an attraction. After he is forced to damage his relationship with Audrey to keep her from discovering the plant's nature, an angry Seymour confronts the plant, asserting he will no longer do its bidding just because it orders him. The plant then employs hypnosis on the feckless lad and commands him to bring it more food. He wanders the night streets aimlessly until
Which I didn't understand. It was dumb. That was dumb.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
dumb.
pursued by a rather aggressively persistent streetwalker, Leonora Clyde,
That was also dumb. I didn't understand that either.
intent on making a score. Believing
She
him
was
harmless,
everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah.
believing him harmless, she flirts with him to
And she
no
was
avail
way hotter than Audrey.
until
You just
he
think that 'cause
inadvertently
she's
knocks her
blonde.
out with a rock and carries her back to feed Audrey Jr. Lacking clues about the mysterious
Audrey Jr. in this
Yeah.
one.
Lacking clues about the mysterious disappearance of the two men, Fink and Stoley attend a special sunset celebration at the shop, during which Seymour is to be presented with the trophy and Audrey Jr.'s buds are expected to open. As the attendees look on, 4 buds open and inside each flower is the face of one of the plant's victims. As the crowd breaks out in shock and fright, Fink and Stoley realize Seymour is their culprit, who flees from the shop and with the police in hot pursuit, managing to lose them in a junkyard filled with tires, sinks, and toilets with the help of Moshnick, who followed along. Seymour eventually makes his way back to Moshnick's
The
shop.
scene was too slapsticky and dumb.
Like they ran down the subway. And
It was
a bunch
almost-
of kids just come running.
It
out
was
of the
almost like they were
subway
trying
I thought
to
it was
fill
funny.
time in the movie
I
with
thought it
this
was
whole
funny.
scene.
Did
thought it was funny.
Mushnick trip the cops in the junkyard?
No, he tripped Seymour.
He tried to.
He tried to.
And then all of a sudden he's not clumsy
But,
anymore,
like,
so.
I think the whole, especially that whole part where he's running across tires and all that, that was just way too long. It was like, you're dragging this shit out because you're trying to fill time in the movie. Like, a short chase would have been fine. But, yeah, it's just... Yeah.
A short Three Stooges chase. I mean, that would have been comical enough. They dragged it out way too long.
I couldn't tell if, what was his name, Mushnick? I couldn't tell if he was on Seymour's side or not.
He was at first. He was making money
He was making
until
money off of
until
it, yeah.
No,
Seymour
I mean, he's
Like,
making
during-
money. He
until
is.
until Seymour
Yeah.
got caught.
Yeah.
No,
And then he's
during
like,
that
nope.
scene, though, because he doesn't trip him, but then he trips the cops, which I thought was an accident.
But then he kept
then
saying,
he kept
you're
saying-
not going to find him tonight. You're not going to find him.
Yeah, you're not going to find him a bunch of toilets. You might as well head home. We're
Yeah.
not going to find him here. Might as well head home.
Well, then they
So
take away
I
his
wasn't-
cash cow.
I wasn't really sure, so.
He wants money.
Well,
He's motivated by money.
She's saying, though, like, was he actually trying to help him or was she, you know what I mean?
No, I don't think he's trying to help.
He's not helping
He's not
anybody
helping
but
Seymour.
himself.
He's trying to keep his money. He's trying to keep the plant.
Right.
They're going to take the plant if they take Seymour. Seymour eventually makes his way back to Mushnick's shop, which is now empty. Audrey Jr. demands, "Feed me." Seymour curses the plant for ruining his life. He grabs a kitchen knife and climbs into Audrey Jr.'s maw, saying, "I'll
'Cause that
feed
makes
you."
sense.
Yeah, "I'll feed you like you've never been fed before." Later that evening, Audrey, Winifred, Mushnick, Fink, and Stoller return to the shop where they discover that Audrey Jr. has begun to wither and die. As Winifred laments over how her son used to be such a good boy, one final bud opens to reveal the face of Seymour, who pitifully moans, "I didn't mean it," before drooping over, ending the life of Audrey Jr.
I thought the ending was dumb in this one. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
We're gonna hold our Rotten
Opinions.
Tomatoes- our opinions until the end. All right, now that we've read that one,
On to the next.
on to the next one. All right, let's start out with Karen. That plot synopsis for Little Shop of Horrors in 1986.
Seymour Krelborn is a nerdy orphan working at Mushnick's, a flower shop in urban Skid Row. He harbors a crush on fellow coworker Audrey Folkward?
Sure.
Folkwad? Whatever. And is rated by Mr. Mushnick
Lord
daily.
Farquaad.
That's what I was thinking.
I didn't even know she had a last
I didn't
name.
either. One day, Seymour finds a very mysterious, unidentified plant which he calls Audrey 2. The plant seems to have a craving for blood and soon begins to sing for his supper.
All right, would you guys watch? Would you recommend? Eric?
As I stated before, yes, I would recommend it to a certain demographic of people. I mean, I feel like if you're into horror and you like comedy, you have to at least give this a watch at least once in your
Or
life.
musicals?
Or musicals. You have to at least watch this once.
Right.
For me, I'm not a big musical person. I've watched this, I think, 3 times in my life.
Really?
Yeah,
That's it?
yeah.
Fuck.
I'm not very big into musicals.
Right.
So it's not a big cliche for me. So I won't probably watch it again unless someone says, "Hey, like I've never seen this. You want to watch this
Right.
with me?" Sure, but
You don't want to be a dentist?
no. It's got its points. It's just not my kind of thing.
Okay. Karen?
I'm not going to say that I'm going to recommend it to any certain demographic. Everybody should fucking watch it. Yeah, and yeah.
I'm with Karen. Dude, I don't care who the fuck you are. This movie's amazing. and everybody needs to watch it.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't
if
care
it's
if you
a
like
musical.
musicals. I don't care if you like horror movies. I don't care if you like
musicals
comedies.
As a general rule,
Yeah.
I like this and I like Rocky Horror, and that's fucking
This
it. But I'm
fucking
gonna
movie's
watch this
amazing.
movie
I'm gonna
until
have
I
to agree
fucking
with
die.
you guys too, because Ada doesn't like musicals, and she liked this movie.
This movie's awesome.
So-
This is one of my favorite movies of all
It's
time.
hilarious first and a musical second.
Yeah,
And see,
I agree.
See, like Rocky Horror is like not something I'm really into. Either.
I don't care.
And you're wrong for
like,
that, too.
Rocky Horror is okay to me. Like I don't care about Rocky Horror like Karen does. That shit, I'm like, it's good.
That's
it's
special
funny.
to me because my mom.
Yeah,
like,
I
she
love it. I
dragged
think
me in
it's
the living room
good,
one day and
and I
was like,
think
"You're
it's-
gonna watch this."
But
And I
it's
was
not
like,
on the level
okay.
that Rocky or that Little Shop of Horrors is for me. Like I love Little Shop. It's my favorite musical of all time. I love Rick Moranis. Everything about this movie, the set pieces, everything is awesome.
Don't get me wrong, the set pieces is pretty neat. It's her voice kills me.
Seymour.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and
wrong with
read
it?
the movie.
The fact
You
that
want
he can
throat
be on the
punch?
same
You're gonna get
pitch
throat
as her
punched.
is sad.
Huh?
The fact that he can get about on the same pitch as you is sad.
He doesn't like it either. Every time I do that, he threatens to throat punch me.
But will he?
No.
All right. Little Shop of Horrors,
I
1986.
don't threaten unless I mean it.
Ooh.
The film opens with the words read by Stanley Jones on the 23rd day of September in an early year of a decade not too long before our own. The human race suddenly encountered a deadly threat to its very existence. And this terrifying enemy surfaced as such enemies often do in the seemingly most innocent and unlikely places. Seymour Krelborn and his colleague Audrey Fulgard, work at Mushnick's flower shop in a rundown, rough neighborhood in New York City, referred to as Skid Row. They lament that they cannot escape the neighborhood, struggling with a lack of customers. Mr. Mushnick decides to close the store, but Audrey suggests he may have more success by displaying an unusual plant that Seymour owns. Immediately attracting a customer, Seymour explains he bought the plant from a Chinese flower shop during the solar eclipse. Why does that say Dadu? Dadu.
I think they got her last name wrong too, because I'm telling you, on the synopsis there was a Q in there.
Oh, there is in this one too. Sorry,
Okay.
Full quad.
It's like Farquad.
Full
Quad.
Full quad. Full quad.
Just say
Full
far.
quad.
Lord- There's an R in there.
Lord Farquaad.
like
Yeah.
Farquad.
Full cord.
Full
Cord?
cord.
I'm gonna say full cord.
I want to
Yeah.
hear her say it.
Right?
It's
Full
Lord.
quad.
It's Lord
Audrey Full Quad.
Lord Farquaad.
Okay.
I'm having way too much fun with this shit.
He names the plant Audrey 2 because of his secret crush on his co-worker Audrey. So, do you like Audrey 2 or Audrey Jr. more?
Audrey Jr.
Really? I like Audrey 2 more.
Audrey Jr. because Jr. denotes like male.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like there's the things I like about the first one
Like,
is there's so much more subtlety happening in that one. This is like all the comedy's in your face, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's so much subtlety happening in the first one that you almost don't catch all of the comedy.
Yeah.
I like Audrey too because it's creepier.
Not only is it creepier, but it sounds like, all right, this is the sequel to the original Audrey.
No, I get that. There's,
You know what I mean?
It's
Or like,
working twice,
or like
right?
she's the this Audrey is only second to the first Audrey to me.
No, it works twice,
You know what I
right? Like
mean?
it works
Yeah.
in two ways. I get that. It's fine. I like Audrey Jr. because it works
Yeah.
in different ways, and I think
Okay.
it's funnier.
However, when the shop closes for the day, Seymour discovers that Audrey 2 is wilting from lack of food. It refuses to eat anything normal plants would feed on, such as soil, water, and sunlight. Seymour accidentally cuts his finger and discovers that Audrey 2 has an appetite for human blood. As the plant thrives, business booms at Mr. Mushnick's failing flower shop, and Seymour becomes a local celebrity, all because of his incredible plant. Meanwhile, Audrey suffers at the hands of her abusive, sadistic boyfriend, Oren Scrivello DDS. However, she has feelings for Seymour and secretly dreams of running off with him to the suburbs. Seymour continues to feed Audrey to his blood, draining his energy. Seymour soon attempts to ask Audrey out, but she turns him down because she has a date with Oren, who is revealed to be a dentist. You'll be a dent. Okay, so I want to talk about some of the music in this fucking movie, because the opening music's like the three girls, they essentially narrate the movie with music.
Yeah.
With song.
They have a name. What the hell's their name?
I don't know their names.
I'm gonna find out because that's gonna drive me nuts.
But they're one of my favorite parts of this movie because they narrate everything and they do such a great job. And two of the girls in that group were both in Martin, the show.
Tisha and God, what's the other girl's name?
Yeah, because the one girl played Martin's wife and the other one played her
Tisha.
best friend.
I think that was Tisha.
So, hell, for all we know, the other girl was in there too, somewhere in Martin. I just don't remember. But I know the two girls were main because Martin hated the friend, which was the darker complected, skinnier black girl.
Ronette, and Sheevan?
Greek chorus. Mm-hmm.
So, but I love those three girls. I think they're awesome throughout the whole movie.
Well, I agree. See, that's kind of what I was talking about when we were talking about what was that Ryan Gosling movie? The
Blackstreet Urchins.
La La Land?
La La Land. About the whole, like, when the intro comes in and they were, like, singing about being stuck in traffic or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I was, like, comparing it to this movie when the Greek chorus comes in and, that lady starts talking about being on Skid Row and then the Greek chorus comes in and all these people are singing and stuff. And, like, every song in this movie is related to the story.
Whereas that song wasn't.
And
right,
I was like,
I get you.
I don't understand
I get
this
you.
at all. Like...
Yeah. All right. Eventually, okay. So, but I will say at the end, I'm going to ask you guys your favorite songs because
I think I wrote it down.
Eventually, the now huge Audrey 2, voiced by Levi Stubbs. By the way, much better voice. Like golden cannon to that fucking guy because he was awesome.
The only reason that guy voiced Audrey in the first one is because Roger Corman is cheap.
Oh.
It was the writer who voiced Audrey for the actors to have something to reference, and then he just never did anything about it. It was supposed to be somebody else. They were supposed to get a voice actor to come in and add some oomph to it.
Yeah.
And he just never did anything about it.
Eventually, now a huge Audrey 2 begins to talk to Seymour, demanding more blood than Seymour can give. It convinces Seymour to kill Audrey's abusive and sadistic boyfriend Oren by promising him favors in return for feeding it, such as a new car and other wealthy privileges. Feed me, Seymour! Seymour gives books an appointment with Dr. Scrivello and arms himself with a revolver. However, Oren, disappointed with his previous masochistic patient, Arthur Denton, played by Bill Murray, decides...
Do they have to do that to remove the jaw?
Yeah. The part where he spits all those fucking spacers out of his mouth, I'm just like...
He's putting them in himself.
Yeah, he's like putting them in, he's like, yeah. And he's like adjusting the lamp and everything for him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the best scenes of the movie.
It is. That's what I'm saying. Like, I like Jack Nicholson in the first one, but Bill Murray kills it.
Yeah,
like, Bill Murray is like
scenes.
4 notches above. I'm sorry, he just is.
Bill Murray does kill it. It's one of his best improvised scenes I've ever seen him do. I will give him that.
You give
grabs onto his shoulder.
He's like, like they're doing it or something. You know what I mean? Like making love. And He's killing it. The whole
You
time.
get pleasure from having pain.
Yeah.
That's all.
This is one of the
that
most
was the only
memorable-
cue he had to give Bill
This
Murray.
is one of the
and
most
Bill Murray's like,
memorable
okay.
scenes that I've ever seen
got
with Bill
you.
Murray.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
No more. You don't have to say
This is one of the
anything
most
else.
memorable scenes I've ever seen with Bill Murray.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
this is like I remember him from this and like Caddyshack the most.
Oh god.
You know what I mean?
And
So,
that one was another one completely ad lib for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. So whenever you let Bill Murray do his thing, he does great.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
let him go. You don't even have to
Yeah.
give him a script. Just let him go.
Caddied for the Dalai
All right.
Lama once.
Now set the bill free.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty much is what it is. All right, so, however, Oren, disappointed with his previous masochistic patient, Arthur Denton, decides to amuse himself by sniffing nitrous oxide. His gas mask malfunctions and Seymour allows him to die, laughing hysterically from asphyxiation. Seymour drags Oren's. What did I ever do to you, dude?
What
I don't
you did
care.
to
Steve,
her.
this is still Steve Martin's best performance, in my opinion. I love him in this movie.
Look, I never thought in my life that I'd ever hear, even though I saw this movie probably when I was very young. I know I was very young the first time I saw it. But every time I hear Steve Martin say slut, it still bothers me somehow. You know, when he says slut, it's
Yeah, he
like,
calls her a slut. You're like, ooh, that was a little. It
That's
almost
not-
gets
you
on
can't
your
say that.
Yeah, it
That's
almost
not
gets
You're
under
not
your
allowed
skin a
to
little
say
bit.
that.
Yeah,
You're almost like, that made me feel dirty.
yeah. I love.
Yeah.
He's so good in this fucking
He wants
movie.
to go
though.
up and just smack
like with his
hand.
Harley.
No!
He jumps off his Harley and he just looks at it. He's like,
And it stops.
it's so fucking good, man. He does so good in this movie. He's so funny.
It's fucking Steve
Bad,
Martin.
Steve. Bad.
But it's funny. He calls her a slut, and it makes you feel dirty. But he walks up and he punches that nurse like 30 times.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
punches her.
That doesn't bother you one
No,
bit.
not at all. Because when he walks up and punches her, it's
and
funny.
he's
as
like
fuck.
waiting for her to come in and then smacks her with the door.
Yeah. Well, let's just,
I'm your dad.
He's great.
that's like the best skit throughout the whole movie is just the
Yeah.
dentist part.
It really is. Yeah, he plays a great dentist.
Yeah.
All right, Seymour drags
make that
Oren's
money.
body. Huh?
Gotta make that money.
Yeah. Seymour drags Oren's body back to the flower shop where he chops it up for the plant.
Look, you know you live in a bad hood though when you can take a human-shaped burlap sack all the way
All the
home.
way, yeah,
and
by
nobody
dragging
stops
it.
you.
And nobody
Mhm.
just, yeah,
They're
nobody
just
cares.
like, oh, so Seymour's got his laundry he's taking home, I
Yeah,
guess.
right.
Normal Sunday.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that one out of him. Okay.
Weird.
He's
Good
in the
for
middle
you.
Of, he's,
Is this your first?
just taking out the laundry, whatever.
Seymour's finally had enough. Don't piss him off
Yeah, don't
today.
piss off Seymour. He done lost his shit. He is in the middle of dismembering the body with an axe when Mr. Mushnig passes by the flower shop and witnesses it. He does not confront him, but runs off scared. Seymour feeds the body parts to the plant. After Seymour has spent a sleepless night, he discovers two policemen questioning Audrey about Oren's disappearance. She says that she feels guilty about Oren's death even though she did not cause it, because she always secretly wished that he would die. Seymour tells Audrey that she is
blame her.
beautiful and shouldn't have such low self-esteem, and she realizes that
She had a
she
big
loves
doll.
him back. Suddenly Seymour. That's why they sing it.
Die, bitch, die.
Suddenly Seymour.
Oh my god, when they sing, dude, they're like, her like neck veins are coming out and shit, and like
Well, I mean, she actually has a very
she's got some chops,
incredible
man.
voice.
Yeah.
Like she belts.
And I was
it.
surprised whenever he was singing too. I was like, he's actually not bad for
Though,
what it is.
like he's a good singer, but when you hear his chops is like that part where he's singing something. I can't remember what the song now. When he says "I don't know," when he belts it, he's like "I don't know," and he
Oh,
belts
yeah,
it
yeah.
out,
yeah,
and you're like, that came out of Rick Moranis.
yeah.
Yeah.
That night, Mushnick finds Seymour and accuses him of being an axe murderer. Seymour confesses that he chopped Oren up, but denies that he killed him. Before leaving the store, Mushnick decides to bargain with Seymour, offering Seymour protection if he allows Mushnick to take care of the plant. Seymour is undecided and stands by while Mushnick investigates Audrey too and gets killed and swallowed by the whole carnivorous, swallowed whole by the carnivorous plant.
That's not true.
What do you mean?
He backs him into the plant.
He does kind of like back him into it a little bit. He's like,
But
moving toward
Mushnik
him.
kind of doesn't give him a choice either. So
Right? Yeah. I mean,
he's either going to push him out of town, or he's going to kill him.
I need one of those plants. I got a few people that need eaten.
Either way, he was going to die. Is basically how Seymour was going to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that plant was going to kill him either way.
Yeah, either way. Seymour's fortune continues to grow, and he becomes a media star. But he is very worried about Audrey 2's growth and insatiable appetite. Seymour decides to leave town with Audrey, leaving the plant to starve to death. While Seymour momentarily leaves the shop, Audrey 2 telephones Audrey to eat her. Audrey 2, in meantime, Mother from Outer Space.
Mean mother from outer...
Mean Green Mother from Outer Space. Audrey 2 has finished a phone call to Audrey, and she comes into the shop, not able to believe seeing a talking enormous plant. Soon, Tui asks Audrey for a cup of water, and after Audrey with the can, the plant grabs her body with vines and brings her into its mouth, but Seymour manages to save her. They go out of the shop, and the salesman named Patrick Martin from World Botanical Enterprises offers to breed Audrey 2 and make a fortune by selling the plant to families around the world. Seymour, frightened, realizes that Audrey 2 must be destroyed before their lives are lost. Seymour confronts and fights the gigantic plant, who now has little offspring in tow. Audrey 2 bursts out of its pod and reveals to Seymour that it's an alien from outer space. After brawling with Seymour, Audrey 2 manages to latch onto the store's support beams and yank the shop to pieces. Assuming he's killed, Seymour spanks. Jesus Christ. Seymour thanks to mass amounts of debris and bricks crushing him. Luckily, Seymour's arms burst through the rubble in which he has been buried and grab 2 broken, exposed electrical wires, which he uses to shock the massive plant, causing Audrey 2 to blow up. Seymour and Audrey wed and move to the suburbs, but as the credits start to roll, we see a little smiling Audrey 3 bud, I didn't know it was called that, Audrey 3 bud, in front of their picket fence. The film ends. So that was the theatrical cut. The
Director's cut.
director's cut is different. So in the director's cut, whenever he pulls Audrey out of Audrey 2, she succumbs to her wounds and dies, and then he ends up feeding her to the plant anyhow. And then he leaves, goes up to the building, to the top of the building to commit suicide. He was going to jump off the building, and that's when the salesman comes up and says, "We want to distribute these Audreys around the world, blah, blah, blah." And that's when he confronts Audrey 2 and says, "I have to destroy you before you destroy the planet, blah, blah, blah." So he fights Audrey 2 and ends up dying. And all the Audrey 3s around the world essentially get sold. And there's like this whole other scene of like kids and people rushing
Mass
in to buy
hysteria.
mass
Dogs
hysteria.
and cats living together.
Yeah, like they're buying up all these Audreys, and then they all get big, and they end up destroying buildings and the whole city.
Whole different ending.
And it's a whole
It's
different
the play ending.
And they it's not only the play ending, but this is the original ending. It's the ending that the director originally wanted, but he said it didn't test well with audiences.
It didn't, but it's the play ending. That's what
Right,
they wanted. They wanted
yeah.
the play ending.
And it didn't test well with audiences because they didn't want to see their hero or their protagonist die. Blah blah blah.
I don't like it.
Makes sense. You
No,
don't like what?
I don't like it. I like the play ending for the play.
Yeah.
I like the movie ending for the movie.
Yeah.
And I like this theatrical ending for this movie.
Yeah.
And I have a reason why. So the original ending for the movie, for the first movie, it fits
Yeah.
because
Seymour was a killer.
Seymour was not
He
a
did-
good person.
Yeah.
You didn't like Seymour because he actually did kill people. Like the first one was an accident, okay, but then the dentist, like that was sort of self-defense, but he didn't have to. He could have. He was by the
You're
door.
trying to kill
he
me.
was on the side of the door. He could
Yeah.
have just left.
He could have left, yeah.
So like Seymour's not likable in the first one, right? In the play, that fits the play perfectly. The way the play plays out, that ending fits the play.
Right.
In this, they make Seymour and Audrey way too likable
Yeah,
for them
I
to
agree.
kill them that way.
Yeah, I agree. It's
It
too
it
dark of
doesn't
an
fit.
ending for good protagonists.
Mhm.
You
They
know?
make them too likable.
Yeah.
Like in the first one, he's not very likable. In the play, they go back and forth with it. Fine, it works. In this, you like Seymour and Audrey too much. You
Don't
want
get
to
me
see them get
wrong.
away.
They spent a lot of money and time on that director's cut
Oh, they
ending,
sure did.
and it looked great.
Mm-hmm.
It looked awesome, but it added a lot
You made
to
him
it.
too.
But at the
You
same
made him
time,
too nice. You
made him too nice, man. I liked him too much to see him die.
Mm-hmm.
So for their happy ending at the end of the movie, I like that more. I'm sorry, I go with the theatrical cut
Every time.
every time. So
Yeah, I watched the director's cut, and I was like, yeah, I don't like it. I don't.
Yeah.
And that's why.
All
them
they
too-
needed, all they needed in the director's cut was a Asian guy and going, "Oh look, Godzilla!"
Well, that was kind of
that was the idea.
Yeah, that
though.
was exactly.
It
what
was
they were
supposed to
going
be
for.
a Godzilla slash King Kong kind
Yeah.
of parody, sort of, or
Yeah.
like homage.
Yeah,
And that was the whole.
they were going for that over
Because
the
I
top
listened to the
monster.
commentary.
Yeah,
I listened to
They
the
should've-
commentary with the director.
Should have had Godzilla come in and fight the plant.
that would have been kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool.
That would have been funny.
Godzilla versus Kong versus Audrey.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere, right
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
Godzilla just comes in and starts fighting all the plants.
So I think that I like the theatrical cut more than I do the director's cut for that reason.
Yeah.
There's more to the director's cut a little bit at the end.
Yeah, you get a lot more between the plant and
Yeah.
Seymour back and forth and things
Yeah.
like that. But overall, I don't think it fits. I don't like it. It doesn't work for me. I mean, other people might, and that's fine. You can.
I'm good with the happy ending. And it wasn't even a full happy ending because there was still an Audrey 3 at the end.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna feed it.
Yeah, but say, how's it going to survive?
I think
if
we've
it's not
You know
learned.
what I mean? How's he going to live?
I think he's gonna see that in your garden.
Weed killer.
Just put a cup over it and forget about it.
Probably just come up there with some fucking snips.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not even that. Just take some weed killer to it. It'll be alright.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get into our ratings of these movies.
Let's rock out as bitch.
Because we're actually making pretty good time for doing 2 movies.
No, we're fine.
All right.
So each person gonna do both movies at the same time, or
You might as
We
well.
go one
No, we're
movie
going
at
to
a
do
time.
one and then the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go one around the table and then the next
exactly,
one around the table.
yeah. And I'm not going to get too much. I'm not going to get into any reviews or anything like that. I'm just going to do the scores. Son of a bitch. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. No, not that one. Son of a god damn it. Sorry, I'm having trouble.
He's having a road rage over there.
Okay. All right. What do you guys think for the audience, or I mean the critic score
Yeah.
for the first one,
for the first one, 1960. Little Shop of Horrors, 1960.
critics.
78.
For critics, I'm gonna go a little high. I'll say 80.
65.
Eric's gonna take it. It's a 94%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you the critics consensus. Maybe. Oh, they don't have one.
You might.
There's only 16 reviews on this for critics.
Well, I mean, how old the movie
Aren't we
is.
supposed to give our reviews first?
Yeah, it says one of the best films
He's
ever
just
made
doing
by
the
Roger
scores.
Corman.
Oh.
The original Roger Corman drive-in black comedy. Okay. All right, so audience score.
65. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
think
gonna
it's gonna be
say
as high.
that.
I'm gonna say
Sorry.
72.
60.
What'd you say?
65.
Madison's going to take this. It's a 55%. It's a 55.
No accounting for taste.
Yeah. Apparently, it is not well received by the audience.
You know how many
and this
people
is
I
out
hear-
of 50,000 reviews.
How many people I hear that like younger generations that are like, I don't watch black and white movies,
Yeah.
and I just want to punch them in the throat. Like
I
what
watch
a
them.
reason to say that you're not going to watch something.
I watch them. They just make me tired.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like that people hate it because it's for any reason.
Just
Oh,
because it's
black
not in
and white.
color,
Yeah, that's
you
not fair.
uncultured swine.
Yeah.
This one was in color.
Maybe the one you watched.
Well, sort of. It was like blotchy.
This guy says 1 star. This is very poor quality. Half the time you can't even see their faces.
It's 1960, man.
Like how
Wow.
good, this wasn't 4K, okay?
Oh my god.
Anyway, moving on. All right, Little Shop of Horrors 1986.
Critics, I'm
Critics.
going to say 87.
85.
92.
Madison's going to take this one. It is a 91%. Certified fresh. Yeah, critics consensus remixing Roger Corman's B movie by the way of off-Broadway musical. Little Shop of Horrors offers camp horror and catchy tunes in equal measure, plus some inspired cameos by the likes of Steve Martin and Bill Murray. All right,
84.
For audience?
audience, yeah.
I'm going to say 70. Yeah, 70.
90.
What'd you say?
84.
Madison's going to take this one too. Audience score is 79%.
She cheated.
She got 3 out of
No.
6 of them. Or, I mean, 3 out of 4 of them.
I know.
They did pretty good.
It's reflection.
I guess we didn't do our scores first, did we? Is there a reflection?
yeah.
Can't see that.
Now he's
I
like,
see
Now
the
he's like,
ring
wait a
lights in
second.
Fucking-
There-
yeah.
See
there
the
is
ring
a-
lights in the TV. Your body's blocked.
Yeah, I was going to say, she can't see that. All right. So I guess we didn't do our scores first. We should have done that, huh? Let's go around the table and see what we all think of those 2 movies. Eric, what do you give Little Shop of Horrors 1960?
So
2.
the first one,
I will take its time into consideration when I do my score.
yeah, that's where I'm sitting at with it. I mean, I'm not going, like I said, for me, I'm not very big on music. Well, this isn't really the musical one, but it's just very, I want to say campy. So,
Quirky. It's kinda
yeah,
quirky.
yeah, really
It's kind
kind
of,
of quirky.
that is
yeah.
for the time.
Yeah, that is very.
Yeah, I
much
know,
for the time.
and I know it's for the time, but
It's-
it's
you're talking about
kinda-
back during like the Charlie Chaplin days.
Yeah,
you
but Charlie
know-
Chaplin was
This
more
probably just
not
wasn't
really
his cup of
quirky.
tea.
Oh
Or,
fuck
Okay.
yeah, he was, dude. Everything he did was quirky.
yeah,
And
but that was more
campy.
like your
Zany.
Three Stooges.
Very
Three
zany.
Stooges. and
Yeah,
What
stuff
about
very
the
like
house
Three
that.
falling?
Stooges.
Like he's literally standing there looking at his watch. The house falls, and he's standing in the window.
Yeah, but that's
Like
Three
that-
Stooges kind of stuff.
And that's
It's zany.
that's zany
Zany.
and
Yeah,
campy.
I
Like
didn't
that's
really
where
see- in the
that's the
50s and
literal
60s were
definition
big
of
I
it.
didn't really
shit.
see that much in this though. Like,
Well, no, the only zany part of it, the only campy zany part was the chase
Mhm.
that you hated.
yeah, and that's not. It wasn't really that. I don't know.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
How did he get into that toilet?
It's zany.
I gotta. I mean, really, I gotta come in with a 4 on it for
A 4?
me. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I
It's
don't
not
know.
your thing,
It just
huh?
wasn't.
Yeah, that's okay. It's that like you gotta understand. Old movies like this ain't for everybody. They're not all gonna understand or get it or care that it's black and white. There's like, no, this movie sucks.
I watched the color version of it, and I.
Color.
Yeah, the,
Yeah,
the
right.
color.
It was
Somebody
blotchy,
stood there with
but
a
there was
crayon.
color.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it-
colored in like half the time it was black.
It was
and white
pastel, okay.
Yeah, there was there was tones of other colors
Yes.
in there. It doesn't mean they were correct.
Like I said, it had its good moments and stuff like that, but it just wasn't hitting it for me.
Right.
That's
Okay.
the best way I could explain it.
Karen?
I might be like the only person here that really, really enjoyed the first one
I enjoyed the first one.
because, like, the first or the remake. Like, I went into this totally thinking I already knew how I felt about the 1960 version because I'd already seen it. And then it starts and I'm like, this is a lot funnier than I remember. Like, this is cracking me the fuck up because there's like so much subtle things happening in the background.
Maybe you were in the mood to watch it this time.
No, I mean, I
wasn't.
yeah, I mean, I don't.
I was.
I didn't really care or whatever. But like, you know, there's so much like subtle stuff. You know, the cop, you know, as the one cop's talking to him, he picks up his gun, he looks down the barrel. You know, I mean, just like stupid shit just happening that if you aren't paying attention, you're not gonna see it. You know,
And that might be why I didn't, because I probably wasn't.
it's kind of like the Naked Gun, like just shit like that. You see, like that kind of stuff is happening in the background.
I
and if
love
you're not,
Naked Gun, though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that kind of stuff I think is hilarious when you don't, it's not even part of the story, but the stuff is happening in the background, or like, you know, these characters in the background are doing shit. And if you're not paying attention to it, you're not going to see it. And that's happening in this 1960 horror film. And it was just cracking my shit up. It was hilarious to me. And, you know, in the remake, it's all up front, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I wasn't expecting it because I'd already seen this. So I guess I didn't see it the first time. I didn't notice it. And noticing it this time made my watching of it that much more enjoyable. And I found that, I don't know, I really like that.
Maybe that's why I just didn't see all the other things going on in the background.
Yeah, I
This is also my like second or third time watching this. I think it was my second time watching.
this is
first
my
time.
second time
My
watching.
Yeah.
first.
My first.
I think if you had seen it before, maybe you might approach it differently.
Maybe if I would have
'Cause
seen.
I knew what I was getting into whenever I watched the movie. I was like, all right, well, I've already seen this, so I know
Yeah.
what to expect. And then,
Start watching for other things.
yeah, so it was a
And
little
I
bit
think
different
maybe
this time.
probably the reason I caught onto the horror thing so much the first time was because the ending was so jarring for
It
me.
was, yeah.
You know, when those buds open up and you see the
You see his
faces,
face,
you're like,
yeah.
oh no. Like that was like the first time for me. I was like, that's awful.
But it's supposed to be kind of fun. I think it's supposed to be played to be funny.
Yeah. And I guess I didn't catch that the first time because
Yeah.
the ending was so jarring for me that I was like, and that's what stuck with me.
Yeah.
I didn't remember all the funny stuff. I love the mom scene with them eating dinner. That was
The mom
hilarious.
stuff is great.
The mom stuff is great. Like
Yeah.
I wish they would have kept that.
I thought that too, and I'm like, I thought that watching the first one, I'm like, I wish they would have left the mom in the remake. But as it's going on, I'm like, I see.
I know why they didn't keep it.
I see why
I get
they didn't.
it. But
like it's still good shit. Like
yeah,
she's one
that
of the,
was comedy gold.
Yeah, it was. She was great.
All of it.
I loved her.
Yeah, the interaction between the two of them, and then Jeremiah. I didn't notice it, but I did start to notice it after he kept pointing it out. Nobody ever closes a door in that movie.
Really?
No, like he saw it like 4 or 5 times, and then I started to pay attention. No, nobody
I
ever.
never noticed.
They open the door, they walk out. Nobody ever closes one. The whole movie.
Just leave it open, huh?
Yeah, so that's another background thing that's happening that it's fucking
I
hilarious.
wonder if it was something he did on purpose or if people
It
were
must
just...
have been. There was gags happening if you were watching. There were gags happening in the background if you just paid attention. So for that reason, I'm gonna give it an 8 because I think that is very clever. Not a lot of people were doing it. It was the first horror comedy. I think that there's a lot of things to be said for being the first of your kind, being very clever about the things that you're doing, doing things that nobody else was doing. I mean, you not only birthed a genre, but you also birthed a play and a remake. People are still talking about it today.
Yep, I agree.
That's something. So I'm
8.
giving it an 8.
All right, so for me, I think that there's a lot of reasons to like the original. A lot of the zany shit, like I appreciate this movie for what it is. It's a classic. It's it's from the 1960s, well, from 1960. And back then, those movies were comedy gold. Like I love old zany movies like this. Like I said, Marilyn Monroe. I remember watching The Three Stooges when I was a kid. I've seen some Chaplin stuff. I've seen some Keaton stuff, and he's just like in this. Isn't over the top like that, but it's still fun like that. You know what I mean? They've got some slapsticky stuff in there.
The dentist scene.
The dentist scene.
Just that
the dentist
kills
scene
me.
is great. With Jack Nicholson and the dentist. There's a few good. Every scene with the mom is great. even the original Mushnik was great.
Yes.
He was awesome.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention him.
Yeah,
I loved
so
him.
he was great.
And the flower eating Dick Miller with the flower eating. God.
And then like Audrey doesn't even compare to the Audrey in the remake, but she still does a fine job.
She's almost forgettable.
She's almost forgettable, but she does okay. Aside from that, like there's some shit in this movie that I'm like, all right, who cares? But whatever. But for this movie, for its time, man, I gotta give it what it deserves, and it deserves like a little bit of praise for, like you said, starting the whole horror comedy sort of trend and things like that. And I think it's great for that. But I think, and I was gonna give this movie a 6.5, but whenever he came in and started eating them flowers, that bumped me up to a 7. So I'm going to give it a 7 because the fact that he just eats flowers, I'm like, what a weird gag. But it fucking works, dude. It's great. He's just sitting there going to town on these flowers like it's a fucking
Miller,
head of lettuce, dude. Like,
it's Dick fucking Miller. Dude.
I know. He's great. He's great in
love
Gremlins
him.
and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, I'm going to go with a 7 on this one. It's a really good movie. I appreciated it more this time than I did the first time.
Yeah, me too.
So.
Obviously.
So, yeah, I agree with a lot of stuff that you guys said. Kind of said it all. I didn't see all the things. Like, I noticed a few of the doors being left open, but I didn't really think anything about it. I didn't really pay attention to it.
I didn't notice it at first either.
Yeah. But,
Jeremiah had to point it out to you.
And it was funny. Like, whenever he popped up out of that toilet, my first thought was, how did he get into that toilet? It looked like a porta potty toilet, but yeah, the round was too small for him to get in it, so I was confused.
It's that slapstick stuff. It's the Zane. That stuff was popular then. that kind of comedy.
It reminded me. Yeah, well, it reminded me of something you'd see in Scooby Doo. Like,
yeah,
pop up out of the toilet after the guy runs by. Like, okay,
coast is clear.
Yeah,
that's where the zany shit went though. In the 70s and stuff, the zany shit wasn't on live TV anymore. It wasn't in live action. It went into cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
So,
gotcha. Well, I was gonna give this a 3 whenever I thought about it, but I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would, so I'm gonna give it a 6. So
okay, so that's a 6.25.
that's not bad for a classic like that. All right, now let's move into Little Shop of Horrors 1986. Eric, what do you think of that?
So, as I said before, I'm not into musicals. The dentist scene is by far my favorite scene. Like, I mean, just the quirkiness, the comedy with, I mean, just Martin. Yeah, Steve Martin.
Steve Martin's
Oh
great,
my God. He's a comedy genius. And then you got Bill Murray added into that. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? I mean, not to mention, I mean, did we even talk about the skit with John Candy? And
No,
yeah, but John Candy's kind of forgettable in the movie. Like, he's okay. But like the whole radio scene and he's trying to be zany, I wouldn't buy in it. I love John. Don't get me wrong, I love John Candy. Yeah. But he didn't sell it for me during his bit. So
they wanted him for a bigger role.
Yeah.
Than,
I wish they would have gave him a bigger role.
No, they wanted him for a bigger role. He chose to be in that role. I don't remember.
He'd have been a great dentist, honestly. Could you imagine him being the dentist instead?
I think they wanted him for
Mushnik.
Yeah.
Oh, Mushnik?
Yeah.
I think he could have played
I can't
Mushnik.
see him that mean. I can't see him as a mean character though. Like, I don't want to see him.
No,
as
I
a
don't.
mean
I don't know
character.
if they were gonna go that route if it was Candy or not. Because you know how they change characters depending on whatever. But
I don't want him to be.
And maybe it wasn't even Mushnik. I don't remember.
They
it was
probably
a bigger
wouldn't even
role.
killed him off that way either. If that would have been Candy.
I don't know.
No, I don't know how that
I don't
works.
know how that would work. I don't think I would have liked it.
Well,
as
he
much.
didn't die in the first one.
Who, Mushnik?
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. But neither did Audrey or anybody. Just Audrey too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the dentist.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as far as like that, all that stuff goes, I'm going to come in probably about a 6 because this was a little bit more comedy to me.
Right.
It was just wasn't for me. I'm not a musical person, and then
That's okay.
the Seymour thing, the Audrey's voice just it's like nails on a chalkboard with me.
She doesn't bother me.
Nails on a chalkboard with me.
She doesn't bother me.
if I talked to her in person, like every day, it'd probably get on my nerves. But you know,
Even watching a movie, just hearing that high pitched, Yeah.
She really didn't. The actress Ellen Green, she didn't do a lot, man.
She was from the play. She does play work.
Oh,
Yeah.
does she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she does a lot
Yeah,
of
she
Broadway.
didn't. She didn't do
She
a
was
lot.
Audrey
like,
in the play.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how they
I didn't know
found her.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Karen-
she does a lot of Broadway.
Okay. Karen, what do you give Little Shop of Horrors?
So I mean, I grew up watching it. I've probably seen this movie 1,000 times. You've got a lot of comedic powerhouses in this, so that's why I think that this movie works on so many comedic levels. So you have different brands of comedy coming in, right? So you got Steve Martin. He's very big, boisterous, loud, musical. He is a musical comedian in a lot of ways. He does a lot of music comedy, especially if you've ever seen any of his shows where he's on stage.
He plays banjo too, don't he?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So when he does get a chance to do something like this in a movie, he is big and boisterous about it, which he brought to this. Then you have, Mr. Louis Tully, who does his usual, and then all of the other great comedians that come in here and do their thing. And of course, like Eric said, the dentist scene is definitely, in both movies, probably the funniest scene in the movie. But in my opinion, I think the overall scene in the first is funnier. But obviously, Bill Murray's character is funnier
Yeah.
in this one. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that I love about this movie. It is it's a different kind of comedy. It's more in your face. You can see everything. You know what's coming. You know what it is. You know what the gag is, and you know what's funny. I think one of my favorite things about this movie is, though, the way it looks on top of the story. You've got these great sets that very much look like a play. And I think that that's what is great about it, because they're taking this play and they're making it into a movie. You know it's a movie, but they make it look like a play. So you've got these backdrops instead of actual scenes. You know, you got this backdrop of a sunset instead of an actual sunset. And I love that. I think that that's great, that they did a great thing with the aesthetic there. And of course, all the music fits the scenes and it helps to tell the story. I think that they did great with that. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to give this one a 7.5. The bump down is just because I like the subtlety of the first one a little bit more. That's it.
For me, I love everything about this movie. I love the music. I love the sets. I love the actors, the comedic performances. I love the story. I love the fucking even the background music in this is great. That whole, oh my god, the one part where what scene was it? It was whenever he's backing Mushnik up. And the girls are singing
I love that
part.
Supper time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're like, and they're singing their little bit, and it's going real subtle.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a fucking dark moment. Mm-hmm. I was like, in such a like, it's so chaotic. Yeah, the whole piano part. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was beautiful. It was like such a good scene. Mm-hmm. That I love the set piece, the Suddenly Seymour scene, with them in the back alley. That whole set was fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah, that set, yeah.
I'm looking at that set thinking, like, it looks real. Everything about it looks real. The brick, the moss growing on the old brick, everything. The flowers growing up out of the moss, the mushrooms, everything. It looked fucking real. Like you said, I love the backdrops with the fake backgrounds in that, with the fake sunsets. I think those are great. I think that adds a great aesthetic. I think that the whole set of like Skid Row looks amazing because it looks lived in, but it's supposed to be played up like a play stage, and I think it's awesome. The music, all the songs are awesome. I love the dentist song. I love Suddenly Seymour. Getting Stubbs in there to play Audrey 2 was a great fucking choice. Beautiful for a voice actor, because he does such an awesome job. Just everything about I love this movie with every inch of my soul, and it's my all-time favorite musical. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm giving it easily a 9 all day. It's a fucking 9. This movie's amazing. I don't care what anybody says. Fuck you all. It's a 9, dude. I love this movie.
3.
This has been one of my favorite movies since I was a little kid.
Okay. Are you done?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. It like ended abruptly. He was like, "Yeah."
That's all I have to say, man. It's just
He's good.
There's nothing bad. I can't find anything wrong with this movie. Like, I didn't even get into the animatronic stuff, like the plant and how awesome it looks, how well it was done, how smoothly it moved.
Good.
I wasn't done. You're right. How smoothly Audrey just flows so well, man. Like, you would think she was like Audrey. You would think the plant was like controlled by like, you know, just somebody like inside the damn thing, but like it's all like animatronic and stuff and actually moving and everything in its mouth is moving and it opens its mouth and it's like it looks like the inside of what you think its mouth would look like. Just everything about it, its vines flow really well. Everything about it animatronically look awesome. It just looks awesome. They did such a good job with everything about it. I'm like, because I'm watching, especially this time I'm watching, I'm like looking for flaws. I'm like, there are no flaws. Everything, even when the vines bust out of the pot itself, it looks fucking real because it's real dirt coming out of there. Everything, it looked fantastic. Like everything about this movie looks great, and I just, even for 1986, I am 100. I am, you know me, I'm big on practical effects. Everything about this movie is fucking impressive. Like the animatronics, everything. I'm fully impressed with it. Set designs, everything. Music. It's a wonderful movie. Sorry, go ahead.
Just had to get started, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. I
did
could go on and on about this movie. It's a
You
great
did
fucking movie.
Don't get him started.
You did, technically.
Technically, he almost did it.
Actually, I take it back. I'm giving this fucking movie a 9.5. It's an almost perfect movie. Almost perfect movie. It's a 9.5 all day.
Oh.
Yeah.
You took away my bumps.
What bumps? I didn't take away your bumps.
I got no bumps.
Are you not plugged in? You're plugged in.
I'm plugged in.
What did you do to him?
What are you trying to press?
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck, Keisha.
You've been cut off.
I don't know, man.
My
It
bumps
should
are
be
gone.
working. It was working earlier. I don't
I
know.
know.
I just decided to stop.
I was on a tirade. Sorry.
Thank you.
I really like this movie too. I will agree with you. It's a very beautiful movie. The sets are, and I do like the songs in it, especially. Oh wait, we're saving. You're asking us a question on the songs.
You can tell us your favorite song.
I like the Dennis song.
Oh, I thought we were waiting till the end.
Me too.
What's your favorite song, Karen?
Oh. I think it's a tie between Skid Row and that Supper Time song. I like them both. Oh, the thing I like about Skid Row, I like Supper Time for the song. Skid Row, I like how they're dancing when they sing it because it's very normal movements. Like
Right.
they'll be like walking on the sidewalk and their foot will slip off at just the most opportune time to line up with the music.
I guess, yeah.
I
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. I'm going to agree. I really like the Supper Time song because of that build up to Mushnik and all that stuff. Also, the Dentist song is just gold. It's classic and it's so much fun. And Steve Martin just sells that whole scene. That part, like I said, with the practical effects, where he's got the thing in the dude's mouth. They use that scene for about, 5 seconds?
Yeah, but it's
Could you
perfect.
imagine all that work that they put into that little 5-second
Clip.
scene?
You know that work I put into that bicuspid, you're not even going to show it?
Yeah, and you're like, but it
The
works.
sculptors that
Because like
would,
I'm
you
like
know.
looking at his hand in compare, because you know how they had to make it like look larger, so they made it much larger. But the way it fits his hand and how it extends, it fits so well. It was so nicely done. I was just like, man, it's seamless. Because you're like, wow, like it looks like you're inside that dude's mouth.
Yeah.
Like it's just, like I said, I'm gonna quit gloating on it. Sorry. It's almost a perfect movie. Almost a perfect movie.
And then
Eric, what's your favorite song?
What's your favorite song?
It's got to be the dentist for me. I mean,
Dennis,
it's
a
just
really good. It's a catchy tune.
It's not just the song; it's just the scene, the whole scene. It's
with
just so much
Steve Martin and
comedy
everything,
that's
yeah.
in it. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, it's just so
It
fun.
just
It's
plays
funny.
out right.
It's really fun. Yeah.
Keeps beating up everybody.
I love Steve Martin in the movie
Yeah.
though. Every
Beats the
time he
shit-
lands,
beats the
he
shit out of
lands the
everybody.
motorcycle perfectly and just stops.
He's flying.
Just flies in.
Walks in the room, the dude's like up in the ceiling, so he just waits for him to fall.
It's fucking
Yeah.
great.
Did you already say your favorite? Was that you saying your favorite?
Yeah, it was a toss up between the dentist, the Skid Row. I like them all, but
I liked Suddenly Seymour too.
Suddenly
That one
Seymour's
was
a good
good.
one. Mostly because it's between the two main protagonists. You get that scene, especially like I said, that whole set back there, like in that alleyway, was fantastic. It was great.
Cut off. Okay, anyways, I really
Sorry.
liked this movie. The music
And
was
then-
good. The scenes were good. It was pretty. It had a good story to it. I can't believe someone just came up with this off of a set. That's what that was, right? He just kind of...
He came up with the idea for a horror comedy. Somebody else wrote the story. Like, he just came up with the idea, like, hey, let's do a horror comedy, and then he called a few people, and they went.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And they, like, created the story based off the set?
Charles Griffith wrote the story.
Gotcha. Okay. But it was really good. I liked it. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Did you say 8 and then 7.5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're at a 7.625 for that one.
I wonder why.
Because I gave it a 9.5. I don't give a fuck.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
Fuck it. I gush over this movie. It's one of my favorites, man. I can't help it.
Would you sacrifice your child?
Yeah.
Which one? That's the important question.
The youngest one, he has the least experience. He won't know what's happening.
Or the oldest one because the other ones have more life to live.
Firstborn.
Or the
It's always
youngest
the
one because
firstborn.
the oldest one will fight. And Jackson weighs, the youngest weighs 20 pounds. So.
He doesn't weigh 20. He's way heavier. He's like 40 or 50 pounds.
You mean as much of a bag as salt?
Sure.
That's how much a
Anyway,
bag of salt weigh.
moving on. Karen, how about some of that sweet ass trivia?
Sweet ass trivia with Karen.
Very, very fast.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right,
we're
go.
making good fucking time for doing 2 movies, man.
We are. Dick Miller genuinely ate flowers for this movie.
I was wondering.
On more than one occasion, he devoured a bloom in front of stunned interviewers to prove that it wasn't movie magic. Jack Nicholson, recounting the reaction to a screening of the film, states that audience laughed so hard I could barely hear the dialogue. I didn't quite register it right. It was as if I had forgotten it was a comedy since the shoot. I got all embarrassed because I'd never really had such a positive response before.
Do you
Who,
think
Jack
he still
Nicholson?
eats flowers?
That's funny because he was really funny in the movie, and I'm like, I bet because I'd never really seen him play a funny-esque character like that before, and for this to be one of his first films, it's wild to me.
I don't know.
Kill it, kill it, kill it. Kill it! Thank you. Ew, now there's a little pile of bug.
I would
Okay,
wait.
go
I
ahead.
would have waited just a little bit
Like till
longer.
it got up to
just
here,
yeah,
to
just
the
till
last
it got
moment.
right there.
Yeah.
She would have been in tears and just laughing
Curled up in a
hysterically
fucking
at that
fetal
point.
position.
And I would have been dying laughing over here.
I should have too. I didn't even. My dad instincts kicked in.
I was gonna say that's exactly what it was.
That
According
would have
to
made so much more content right there.
according to Dick Miller, all the dialogue between his character and Mel Wells was ad-libbed. That's Mushnick, Mr. Mushnick.
Mm.
Roger Corman would shoot scenes with 2 cameras rolling at once, placed at different angles. He rarely shot retakes and spent little time on lighting scenes. He was cheap.
Yeah.
Charles B. Griffith not only wrote most of the screenplay, he also appeared uncredited as the screaming dental patient who runs out of Dr. Farb's office, the burglar, and he was the voice of Audrey Jr. Although the film is legendary for having been shot in only 2 days, Jonathan Hayes recalled in The Little Shop of Horrors book,
2 days.
2 days is how long it took them to shoot that movie.
Which one?
The
first
first one.
Good fucking lord. 2 days.
2 days.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's really good for only being shot in 2 days.
It's crazy. 2 days.
Yeah.
I've heard of like 18-day shoots and things like that, but not 2.
This is gonna blow your fucking mind. You guys ready for this?
Already blown.
Jackie Joseph, who played Audrey, and Dick Miller, the flower eating guy, wound up working together again in Gremlins and Gremlins 2.
Yep.
She was Mrs. Futterman.
Yep. I knew she fucking looked familiar.
I know, that's exactly.
I was like, that's it.
I know, I was reading it. I'm like, that's who she. I knew she looked.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Because I was looking, I was like, those eyes, her face is.
It was
really
her nose
familiar.
for me. I was like,
It was her eyes.
I know you. Yeah, it was her nose for
That's
me.
great. Yeah. Okay.
Seymour's mother is a hypochondriac. Her physician is named Dr. Mallard because he's a quack. Since there are no that's what I'm saying. There's shit in the background. Since there are no characters cited in the credits, there has been significant debate about Seymour's family name. According to the screenplay, it's Krelboind, with Boined, Krelboind. It was changed to Krelborn for the 1982 stage musical, a surname retained in both the Big Names musical and the remake. And Howard Cohen learned from Charles B. Griffith that when the film was being edited, there was a point where the two scenes would not cut together. It was a visual jolt and it didn't work. And they needed something to bridge that moment. They found it in the editing room, a nice shot of the moon. They cut it in and it worked. 20 years go by, and I'm at the studio one day. Chuck comes running up to me and says, "You've got to see this." And it was a magazine article, 8 pages on the symbolism of the moon in the Little Shop of Horrors from 1960. And all it was them just trying to fix a jolt. All right, so this is the 1986. Wardrobe and props were obtained from New York thrift shops in order to attain a period of realism. The most difficult items to find were garbage cans, believe it or not, so set director Tessa Davies drove around in a truck filled with new cans, and whenever she saw an old one outside of someone's home, she stopped and offered to trade. People thought I was crazy, she remarked.
That's fucking hilarious.
Could you imagine?
You want a new trash can? I'll take your old one. Sure.
Okay.
The puppeteers who designed and operated Audrey 2 were veterans of the Jim Henson Company. One of the operators was Brian Henson, Jim's son. The young girl leaving the dentist's office with her jaws wired before Bill Murray's scene is Heather Henson, the daughter of Jim Henson.
Good lord.
It's a whole Henson family.
As part of the film's promotion, the Audrey 2 plant was occasionally interviewed in character by the press. On at least one occasion, the interview concluded with Audrey 2 eating the interviewer.
Oh.
The dental tools used in Warren Scrivello's office during Bill Murray's famous scene would again appear in Batman in 1989. They're the tools used on Jack Napier, Joker, after he fell into the chemicals. Coincidentally, The Little Shop of Horrors was Nicholson's first movie role in which he plays the masochistic patient.
Yep.
Bill Murray's scene, isn't that wild to think
yeah.
about?
Wait, he played Joker?
Jack Nicholson did in the original Batman movie, yeah.
I know I recognize the smile from somewhere.
Oh, he's been in all kinds of shit.
Yeah. Bill Murray's scene in the waiting room was filmed as scripted, but there was virtually no written dialogue when his character got into the patient's chair, except for ecstatic cries of pleasure. Over the course of the 2 days that he filmed, Murray kept riffing various ad-libs, which presented a challenge for the editor to assemble a coherent version of the scene. It took Steve Martin 6 weeks to film all his scenes. He contributed ideas such as socking the nurse in the face.
Over and over and over.
Originally in the script, he was to knock her out using the gas mask and ripping off the doll's head. They also had Tim Curry and Gene Wilder in mind for the role of Dr. Scrivello.
I think if they would have brought Tim Curry in to play...
he would have been too... Well, you know.
No, like, I think that they should have brought Tim Curry in to play Bill Murray's part. Could you imagine him in that position?
That would have been
fucking gold, dude.
Could you imagine? Because Steve Martin would not have only been mad, he would have been...
Yeah.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, like, I think that Tim Curry being in that, like, almost like the Jack Nicholson part with that fucking devious smile and that look in his face, and, like, it's
Call
creepy.
the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that him in that role would have brought in more of the old Jack Nicholson performance from the original. You know what I mean?
But that would have killed it for me a little bit.
You think?
Bill Murray
Bill Murray did
Bill
great.
Murray made it
but
so
But
funny.
he made it different. But it was a different kind of funny, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It wasn't as devious, I suppose.
Then I think that scene wouldn't have been as good.
You don't think?
Because
I'm just saying it would have brought
I think that
something
Jack
different
Nicholson,
to it.
Yeah, it'd been a different kind of play out. And
yeah,
it would
like
probably,
Jack Nicholson wasn't as good as Bill Murray was. Because I like the Dennis scene overall better in the first one, but Bill Murray's what makes the.
If you want
bad
to like
scene
a
better,
creepier,
you know?
like a stalkier creeper,
Right.
Tim Curry would have been the better pick.
Yeah,
But
for
the-
sure. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Like,
if you're going for
if
that,
you were going
you're
for that more
creepy.
of like bringing back the sort of Jack Nicholson version of that character, that would have been it right there.
Yeah, if that's what you were going for,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like you
Because he
creepy
can play comedy and
bastard,
creepy,
fuck
too.
out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wouldn't have just been mad. He would have been like, "Ugh, I need a shower."
I need a shower.
The gun used in the movie is a Smith & Wesson Model 36. Near the end of the movie, Audrey 2 uses the gun to shoot at Seymour. There are 12 shots fired without
Yeah.
reloading during the
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah, I was sitting here counting.
Any-
I
Anybody-
said that. I was
anybody-
thinking that too.
Can anybody guess what the capacity of the gun is?
6,
5.
5.
5 shot
Smith?
capacity. Smith & Wesson
It's
Model
Smith & Wesson.
36.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought.
it's a little fucking snub nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was counting them too because he fires 2 or 3.
I thought
Then he goes in there and he fires like another fucking I don't know
when
how
he was
many.
in the when he went back into the back room.
There was like 6 alone right
I
there.
told Jeremiah, I said, did he? I think he's at like 8
Yeah.
by now, or at least.
Yeah. Yeah, like he fired a lot of shots. Like, there's no way that fucking gun holds 12 fucking shots.
Right.
Like,
The original script called for Audrey and Seymour to be eaten by Audrey too. Frank Oz reluctantly had it changed after negative reactions from test audience. We already talked about that a little bit, but yeah, it was there. Oz claims that the difference between the success of the scene in the play and the same scene in the film is that there is no curtain call to remind the audience that the actors were okay. I don't think that that's the reason. We're not that stupid. We know they're still alive.
Mhm.
I know that they're not really dead. I just think you made them too likable. The movie and the movie Aliens. Now, I've said this before, but since we're on this movie now, I'm going to repeat it because it is still just as funny to me now as it was then. This movie and the movie Aliens were both being shot at the same time in adjacent sets at England's Pinewood Studios. In an interview by several actors from Aliens, it was stated that on set, there was an accident involving James Remar. Apparently, his prop gun was actually loaded with real ammo. When he shot the gun, it blew a hole onto the set of Little Shop of Horrors, and luckily no one was hurt in the accident.
I never understood how you can make a mistake of leaving real bullets in a gun on a set.
I don't understand it either. They're going through all that right now with Alec Baldwin and
Yeah,
all
but
that.
he was acquitted again, wasn't he?
I think they're going to acquit it, and rightfully so. I mean,
He's not the one that loaded the gun.
I get he's the one who fired the gun, and he should have been smart enough to check it. But why is there live ammo on the fucking set to begin with?
Exactly.
They're not the prop master, but
Yeah,
like my
yeah.
thing is like
prop
I don't,
master
I-
or not, like
like,
he said, there
but my
should
thing
not
is-
be live ammo
There
on
shouldn't be.
on a
No,
Hollywood
I'm
set.
saying
Period.
Alec Baldwin is not the prop master.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
if I'm an actor, why would I be checking my gun?
Exactly.
I'm going into
Yep.
I'm going into the scene to play the scene.
Yes,
like
you're an actor. You're there to play
There
a
shouldn't be
part.
live ammo, period. But the problem was that they were out test firing the guns and that the day before or something, and there happened to be live rounds. Well, what happened? Same thing happened with fucking on
I mean, mistakes
The Crow.
get made, I guess.
Mistakes
but I'm
are
just saying,
made, but that's a fucking
not with that
stupid
kind of
mistake.
But what? Even if you're practicing firing the weapon
Mhm.
before the scene, why are you practicing with live ammo in the first place?
It's not before the scene, so they were out firing the weapons the day before.
Even the days
I
before.
believe if it's a prop weapon, it should be a fucking prop weapon.
Exactly.
It shouldn't
It
have.
it
It should never
not
have live ammo in it.
Yes, it should not have live ammo. If you are practicing and you're pre-firing the weapon and you know it's going to be used
Yeah.
for a movie,
Yep.
then that gun should not have live ammo shot through it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Blanks. You're going to be shooting
well, I
anything
heard
through
the whole,
it. Blanks
that whole
at all.
movie production was a mess anyway, and it was unorganized, and that was what happened there. You know, the director was injured, and the cinematographer or whatever she was
She
killed.
died.
You know,
Seriously?
yeah,
Yeah.
she was killed. She was shot and killed because they were
Dang.
filming the scene, and he's doing this maneuver with the gun,
And it
he
went
fires
off.
the gun, and it went off, and it killed her and injured the director.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's been multiple times that stuff like this has happened in Hollywood.
It's stupid.
It
What a
is
stupid
stupid.
fucking thing. Why do I mean?
It shouldn't. It, you know,
Honestly, in
once
this
it's
day
too
and
many,
age,
why is it happening
well,
at
the
all?
sad part is
Exactly.
in this day and age, why do we even use real guns?
That's a
You're
great
telling me
question.
we don't have the technology and things like that to make fake guns look real?
We do.
I mean, I can go spray paint a water gun and it looks real.
Yeah, how many times has somebody gotten tackled at an airport or something over a fake gun or something?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, some kid playing with guns in their backyard and
Well,
some cop tackles.
Here's
them or
my
whatever. I mean,
question: How
come
many
on.
times in the military has there been incidents where people have been shot in the field where you guys are doing like your paintball?
They use lasers now.
Lasers now, but they were using paintball with paintball tip.
Oh, paintball, like,
The paint.
yeah, I know what you're talking
Ammo?
about. I've never seen that before.
But they were never using live. They never used live ammo.
No,
always
they
used-
never-
How many
no.
times were there any incidents where they accidentally had a live round and somebody got shot?
Well, there's actually discharge bins, so you always clear your. You go
But-
up to
but
this
my
bin,
point
you put
is-
your gun in it, you clear it.
Yeah, but my point is barely. I mean, I'm sure there might be some incidents, but
Right.
have you ever heard or
No, not really.
barely
No.
any? Right?
No.
Well, they bury those. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding.
Don't
If
come
it's
after
not, if
us.
it's, well,
Don't
here's
come
my
at me.
here's my point. Like, if it's not happening in the military like that, then why is it? How the hell is it happening in a Hollywood
Right,
set?
right. Because they're not. Most of them people aren't actually. They aren't properly trained and they aren't experienced.
Well, common sense. Would
Most of them aren't. You've got a lot of amateurs out there on the set that don't know what the fuck they're doing. Alec Baldwin, don't get me wrong. I think he should have opened that gun up and checked it. But does he know what he's looking for?
Yeah, does he know what a blank
You know what I
round
mean?
is compared to a live round?
Like Alec Baldwin's a very liberal person.
Most
he doesn't
actors
know what a fucking.
yeah, most
he doesn't know how
actors
to properly operate a gun. You know what I mean?
most actors aren't going to know what a live round is compared to a blank round.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And we got way off subject. What the fuck? All right. Anyway, let's get on with it here. What the fuck?
Are we done with trivia?
We're done with trivia. We're done with all
What's
of it.
in the box?
I don't.
See if it works.
What's in the box?
It's working now.
Do it work?
box?
I gotta check. My one ain't working.
That's weird. Okay. Let me tell you something.
I don't give a fuck, Keisha. Mi scusi.
Imagine if that one didn't work though. That would suck.
All right, Karen. This is the first time I picked out of the box in a couple weeks. Be good.
Be a
It's the
comedy.
first-
Give me a
good-
comedy.
First actual episode.
Quiet Place.
You know what? I've been wanting to watch that movie.
All right, fuck it. We're doing A Quiet Place. We haven't done a horror movie in.
That's a monster movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a monster movie.
All right.
Let's see where
Karen
it's,
doesn't look very. She's like, eh.
Yeah.
What a buzzkill.
I mean, I just watched. I mean, I guess it's been a minute since I watched it, but I've watched it.
Are we
mean,
doing
I
sequels
do-
to this too. Are they in there?
I don't think so.
You're
'Cause
like,
this was before
fuck.
we-
Are they?
No, because this was before I think we did that.
I like.
I
John,
don't think they are.
I like.
That's
John
why I said it that
Krasinski.
way because I
Yeah.
couldn't
I think he's
remember.
a good
Emily
actor.
Blunt. Yeah.
It's not a bad movie.
No, it's
I'm
not a bad
Well,
movie.
just
at all.
I
sit
haven't
down
seen
back
it
in
yet.
there.
It's on.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Okay, well then I'm happy.
It's
to
on
do it.
Paramount.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
haven't seen it yet either.
You haven't seen it yet
That's
either?
why
Oh,
I wanna
man.
watch it.
Oh,
Well,
there's
you
two.
won't be
So
here
I
next
guess
week.
I'll still watch it.
Okay. Yeah.
it's there's two in the box. So
Yeah. The first one and the second one.
yeah, because the
A
third one
Quiet
hasn't come
Place.
out. Yeah.
Well, there's Quiet Place, and it's like a prequel that just came out. It's in theaters.
Oh yeah.
So we should shove the third one.
2018.
Should I put
No,
that
we
one
don't-
back in?
What?
Should I put that one back in
Why?
So the
to
third
represent
one's
the
in it.
third one?
What?
No, because it's not out on.
It will
It's not
be,
on
though.
video yet.
Yeah, but it will be someday.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, go ahead and throw it
doubt
in.
See what I'm saying?
they'll draw it,
Well, it's a
but-
prequel, though. I mean, I don't know how well it ties in or anything. I don't know how that works. Yeah, just go ahead and throw it back in there. Fuck
Where'd
it.
it go?
Yeah, just throw it back in, and then we'll so that we can draw it again
Where'd it
later
go?
for the third one.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, next week we're gonna do A Quiet Place from
2018.
2018 with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. Yeah. This is the first horror movie we've done.
It's been a while.
Since
For
Predator,
a few weeks.
or
Texas
we haven't
Chainsaw.
done Predator.
Yeah, since Texas Chainsaw.
So
Don't remind
about a
me.
month.
About a month, yeah. So, all right. So join us next week, and I'm glad you guys have been here and supported us. 101, baby. I'm proud of it, dude. I'm proud.
Keep coming back. Bring your friends.
Keep coming back. Yeah, bring all your friends.
Tag more people.
We're very
gather
welcoming.
round. We'll tell you a story.
Yeah, we'll be circus freaks for you.
Show more of your friends.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
can't juggle.
huh?
I can't juggle.
I can do this. Move one hand
I can do
forward and
this.
the other one backwards.
Seymour.
Can you guys do that?
I got one more
Can you
in.
guys do it?
I only have this episode to do it.
Nope.
I'm about to
No.
do the Keanu Reeves
No.
fucking.
What am I doing?
Or one.
She's trying to make
forward
herself
and
No,
one
you can't. That's
backward.
not. It's this way.
No, I can't.
No, I can't do it.
I
My
can
brain
do
doesn't.
it in
My
fourth
brain doesn't
grade.
work that way.
My brain
Okay,
doesn't brain that
like
way.
Actual story time. My janitor was super creepy in 4th grade, right? Okay. He said
Okay.
if I can learn how to do this, because in Piqua they'll give you like tickets. They'll give you tickets to go and buy things in this like little gift shop if you're good. He said he'd give me tickets as tall as I am if I can learn how to do this in a week, and I did it.
Did he give you tickets?
Yeah, as tall as I was, but that wasn't saying much because I was a short kid. But at the time, I thought I was like, I thought I was so tall.
Tickets as tall as me. That's like 10 of them. Yeah.
Whoop whoop.
I think I got like 42 of them or something. I was like, woo! And they got me like 2 things.
Oh my god.
That's like a Chuck E. Cheese level of jip.
Yeah, no
I
shit.
feel
Now
like-
I can do
What a
this.
ripoff.
Right?
But now I can do
Now I can do this. I can do this useless thing that gets me nowhere in life.
Yeah, and then the next thing he said, he was like, I'll give you double if you can learn how to juggle. It's like, okay.
Double to
But
juggle.
but then the school year ended before I could learn how to juggle.
One of these days we're gonna be in a hostage situation. Like, if anybody can do this, we'll let you go.
And Madison's like, Eureka!
My time has come.
That's
This
me.
is my moment.
This is my moment. Shit. How do you do it again?
She'll have that blank moment because she's like under stress. She's like, I can't remember how to
I
do
can't remember.
Should be like that old dial up fucking phone. Did it 1? Did it 2? Oh shit! I fucked up.
That's good shit. Man. All right. Anyway, next week we are going to do A Quiet Place. Don't forget to check out all the social stuff, and we'll be back for 102.
We're trying to be serious on these 2, man.
I know. We'll see you guys next week.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.